Wednesday night and nobody's here yet. Well, none of my guests, which would be Rowdy and Jared. I'll send Brett. Brett's taking care of some business, is what Brett's doing right now. So, trying to make us all famous. That's what he's trying to do. We're talk about tonight. We're gonna talk about. Let me send some links out here. I've been trying to get stuff done. I got kids running all over the place. Let's see who's on here tonight. Hazel's Hounds. Evening, folks. Howdy doody. Logs and Hounds. Evening, sir. Where's Missy? I sent Missy a present. We're going to do some trading for some collars because she used to make some collars. There's Jared. Jared. You made it.
I made it. 1 second. I got to grab my Diet Coke.
Oh, you can't go. You can't do nothing without a Diet Coke. I'm trying to send links out.
I'm terrible without them. There we go.
I'm still trying to send links. Brett's in an undisclosed location trying to make $1 million. I forgot to send him a link.
He struck gold.
If he gets time, he can jump on. And maybe we'll get Benny on and talk about how he shuts the dog up too.
There you go.
And how did we get on this subject? Because of Rowdy.
Rowdy.
And he's not even here yet.
No. You got to go tell his dog to shut up.
You had to go tell his dog to shut up. What you've been doing? You've been hunting.
Yeah.
It's been hot. Cooling down. Cooling down in the mornings.
We were 71.
Gets hot quick. You know, you got to get out early and a little bit of time and then bam.
Unless the dogs blow up within a half hour of hunting, you're in for a pretty crappy day of hunting.
Yeah, what time are you getting out?
I'm starting about 5:30, and then I pushed it too hard on Monday. I didn't get back to the truck till 11. I was kind of sweating bullets. We cold trailed. I don't know if it was a lion. It had to have been, but we cold trailed from 8:30 till 10.
Pushing it. That's pushing it in Arizona. 8:30.
Oh yeah.
To start.
I mean,
in the morning at this time of year.
Yeah, and then luckily we hit 2 water tanks, which made me think it was a little female hunting because she was going up on the ridges, back down, hitting the ridges, back down in the wash. But we went by 2 water tanks, so I'm gonna tell myself it was a lion. It probably wasn't. We were probably cold trailing a coyote, but
story of my life right there.
You know, I caught that bear last week, and I've been literally trying to edit a video since last week. I bet you I had 20 calls today, just people calling me. I had people stopping by. Everything in my life's against me. What happened to the guy from Oregon?
I know how that goes.
Hound on the run. You know what I did? Oh, wait, did I? I said, you need to jump on tonight. Did I send him a link?
Who's that?
Oh, Nick. But he did not answer me, and he usually answers me. So I'm going to send him
Probably
a link anyways.
Stuck in the mud or something like I would do.
Mm-hmm.
He could be. He's been doing some hunting. So maybe he's too good for us because he's a author of a book.
Oh no, he seems like a cool guy. He's probably just out hunting, no service.
Yeah, but I'm gonna call him a puss. Anyway,
that's fair. 100%.
I'm gonna get him. Hello from Oklahoma. Hey, did you guys catch any of that? Do you guys watch that Raw Dog with Chris Powell?
I'm still about a week out. I even on that fire the whole time I listened to all the podcasts, and I'm still about a week out because I haven't been hunting all summer. So I haven't kept up, but now I'm close to being caught up.
Yeah, they were just talking about celebrity hunters. It's a pretty good podcast.
Celebrity hunters. What's a celebrity hunter?
Ed Barnes hates celebrity hunters, and Chris Powell was playing devil's advocate for celebrity hunters, and they kind of got into it kind of worked out good because Monday night we talked about social media, and then they kind of talked about the same thing. They went into celebrity hunters, and of course it gets into social media, you know.
Oh yeah.
Ed Barnes just hates celebrity hunters, thinks they're bad, I think.
Well,
but what makes you a
it's good
celebrity
for
hunter?
Well, you know, like you got Cameron Haynes and those guys, which are really good for new people showing up.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Cliff
Yeah.
Gray. I don't know if you guys follow him on YouTube.
You know,
Don't know.
when you start making your own YouTube, you kind of quit watching YouTube.
Oh,
It's
well,
kind of a weird deal.
He bought an outfitting business in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Went from having 10 clients a year his first year to within 10 years being like 10 full-time employees year round and being a full year-round outfitting guy. He
sounds pretty busy.
Well, yeah, he had 45 stock animals at one point.
Who is that one?
Cliff Gray.
Oh,
he's the guy from Montana, right?
Colorado.
Oh, is he the one with the full beard?
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan.
Oh, I don't know.
Talking about how dumb the wolves are.
That's why we don't know him. He wasn't on our podcast.
That's right.
Nailed it.
But
you know, if he wants to jump on, just
super
send
good
email.
stuff. And to me, he's a celebrity hunter. He's real good. But the best guys, like the true killers.
Was it?
The guys that stack animals up
I'm on the phone all the time
and are true killers.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
You'll never hear about them.
Well, they were talking about,
I do a lot of work on my phone.
you know, Chris made a, hey, girl.
Say hi.
She likes to just get on the camera.
She's telling me I'm on the phone all the time.
Yes, he is.
I had 20 calls today, man. And I was in my office trying to, and I'm back home. So I'm not like I'm working hard. I'm back home. And I barely got part of my shop clean today. Didn't get nothing done in the last 2 weeks.
I've been off for the last couple days, and I'm still handling emails at work and text messages, and it's just, it never ends once you become a supervisor. It's so.
And everybody wants that job until, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you're so lucky. You don't have to do nothing. Hey.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I'll
Except
put
every day on your day off, you're working.
Do you want to know the best job in the world?
It's a Packer.
No.
Hands down. Just being a Packer.
Second string quarterback.
Sit on the bench and earn millions and not have to make or do anything.
Well, not even that. So my foreman called me this. And he's all, you have it so easy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's all, you don't labor anymore. You're in and out of a piece of equipment a little bit. He's like, but you're not head operator because I need you on the ground to set grades too and look at stuff. But you don't do any supervising. He's all, you just check stuff and kind of like fill in gaps. He's all, you're literally a second string quarterback for everyone. And I'm like, yeah. And if I'm gone, you guys don't really notice. You know?
It's a good job.
But I make everyone else's life easier.
Nothing wrong
all
with
you got to
that.
do. That's all you got to do.
You don't want to be the very top of the totem pole. You want to be like right below it.
Yep.
Where no one really tells you what to do besides the supervisor. And you're not really a perfectionist at anything. So they don't give you like anything really to do. You just fill in little gaps that are being missed.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's very important. Yeah.
He called me the second string quarterback for that. He's all, you get everything. He's like, you go to the house parties, like talking if I was a quarterback. He's like, you go to the house parties pretty much. You get whatever you want. but you don't have any stress of the game whatsoever. You just know the place,
Up until you get called in.
right?
Then
Yeah.
it'd be a little bit stressful for a few minutes, but then you'd be fine.
Yeah. So that's what you got to do at any employment, is just be a second string quarterback in that
There you
employment.
go. There you go, Rowdy. Words of wisdom from Jared.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yep.
I don't know if it's wisdom, but it's something.
Rabbit hole.
Yep.
I don't even know how we got on that rabbit hole.
I don't know, but it's wisdom. We'll
It's
go with that.
wisdom. We had a guy Monday night said something about we need to get back to dogs and talking. And Brett says, if you want to do that, go over to Chris Powell's podcast because they talk about dogs and we rabbit hole,
Yep.
which is true. There's no difference Monday to Wednesday. Even Brett says, well, yours is better Wednesday because you guys actually stick to subjects. I said, yeah, not so much.
Not so
Kind
much.
of. So,
Did
Yeah.
you see what I sent you about Texas, Chris?
the lion thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't load the link. It just sent me the picture. What's going on over there?
Well, when I first looked at it, it said they banned lion hunting on Sundays on the headline.
Yeah.
And then it's canned hunts and snaring.
They banned those?
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
still do canned
So-
hunt?
Well, they didn't ban snaring. What they did is they said you have to check it every 36
hours.
That's
So
doesn't that seem like a long time?
you know,
Anyways.
it's a day and a half, right? So from
Like
the time,
I used to
a
check
day and a
traps
half
every
from the time
day.
to check.
But I used to check my traps every day.
Yeah, and so that's so the only complaints I saw looking at the few articles that I looked at were ranchers that had large ranches, and what they were talking about is it was a burden on them to be able to get to all of their traps, and it's only snares, not just not leg holds or anything, just snares intentionally set for lions, and they were saying, you know, I've got 20,000 acres, I've got 30,000 acres, I've got 100,000 acres.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to hire someone to literally all they got to do is run traps.
I'll do that. I'll move to Texas.
Sounds a horrible
Yeah.
job, you know. But I can understand how it becomes a burden on them. And regulations,
Well-
all they do is stifle
They just
everything, right?
they
So
just
yeah,
stack
exactly.
on top of each other.
Exactly. So the whole intention of regulations are to stifle production. No matter what you're looking at, that's all they do. And don't get me wrong, there are some regulations that are beneficial to
Makes sense. They make
humanity,
sense.
and they make sense.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not saying all regulations are bad, but in general, regulations all they do is stifle production.
Yep.
And there are more regulations than needed. So stopping people from dumping sewage in the rivers, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Stop and regulate, or implementing regulations that stop people from letting people work more than 10 hours a day because of that's cruel. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Well,
because-
that's personal
No.
choice.
Exactly.
I mean,
right?
doesn't that go with the whole my body, my choice? If you want to work to exhaustion, that's your
Mhm.
business.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know what, if you
some
wanna
of us are men,
bank-
some of us are whatever you want to call them.
If you want to bank hours, that's your
Yeah.
business. I'd
I
rather
never
bank
understood why
hours.
guys would choose that over overtime.
I would choose it.
You would choose having standard pay, and
Yeah.
instead of having 2 hours overtime, you'd have 2 hours standard pay banked away.
I'll take that bank.
You wouldn't
Because
take the
I used to-
overtime and just stash it yourself?
No, because I'll spend it.
Oh,
You know what I do in my taxes? I
What?
claim 0 dependents and take the most out. And the end of the year, I claim my dependents and get my money back.
I
What
do
am I
that 'cause
gonna
I'm always
do?
nervous I have to pay in.
That's why you always do twice as much and have a lot of kids. You don't have no kids. I know how to
I just
buck
have
the
write-offs.
system.
But
Oh yeah, kids.
The
are a
write-offs
big
are great and
write-off.
everything. So what I'm doing is I claim So in California, there's a tax code that you can claim 99. So I'm no longer a California resident, right? So I did grow up in California, and even though I didn't, can't agree with it, don't like it. Now I'm a Nevada resident. I spend all my money in Nevada. I spend every penny that I can pinch in California, I pinch. I don't want it to go there. But I claim 99 on my taxes instead of 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, right? So what that means is as little taxes pulled out of California as possible, or for the state. So all said and done, for every $1,000, it's only like 17% instead of whatever their the typical rate is. I can't remember offhand. So
60%.
Yeah, it's a lot higher than so it's like maybe not 17%, maybe it's 1.7%, but it's been like 6 or 8 years since I learned it, so I don't remember the every detail. So that's what I do. I still pay my federal taxes, but I pay as little to California as I can. So whenever I get my tax return, I'm only getting a smidge of what California took out back, but I'm also paying a tiny bit of what California typically takes through a typical resident.
Mm-hmm.
I still pay full federal taxes, and I get a good chunk of that back because now my wife and I started a home business for her barrel racing, and she's also doing like sourdough bread and cookies on the side, So we write off everything we can, and we get a good chunk back, but it's a quarter of what I pay in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think everybody goes agriculture? So if you have some cattle and stuff, or your goats, you can write all that off.
Yeah,
Agriculture. That's why all these people, big money's got big ranches, places that basically waste their money, launder their money, whatever you want to call it.
true. And don't get me wrong, we lost a shit ton of money this last year because, well, into last season, December, like middle of December, we had a horse die that was a $10,000 horse. So that was a hard hit. I paid cash for that horse, got her back. Wife rode her for a year and a half, and she was getting to be a really good horse. We were probably going to sell her for about $30,000 as a barrel horse, and she sand colicked on us, and we lost, any kind of revenue that we would have made off that one horse. So,
Done.
yeah. Now we're, what can you do? Horse licks the frickin' dirt to get any taste of hay off the ground, other than putting them on solid concrete,
Yeah,
Yep.
feed them on concrete. But even then, they're going to go out and nibble everything.
Yeah.
And some horses just colic easier than others. I mean, I've
Right?
knock on wood, I've never. The only horse I lost to colic was a paint horse that I bought at the auction, and it decided to come out the front of a 2-horse trailer, and it did it. It made it. But then when I cut her open to see what was wrong, she was compacted up. I mean,
Yeah.
we wormed her, and it killed all the worms. When we killed all the worms, it quit moving stuff through, so she clogged up.
Yeah. See, and we
So-
were even doing sand clear every 6 months. We were sand clearing. So
Yeah.
since then, we've gone to every 90 days, and it'll be, I think it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it ends up being a first sand clear cycle. For now, we're instead of doing it 6 months, we're doing it 3 months, and the horses seem to be better, but I don't
That's
know.
why I got dirty Mustangs, not no $30,000 horse.
Yeah. Trying to build an empire costs money,
It does.
No idea.
Absolutely does. I don't need a $30,000 horse to go trot around the desert. So
No, not at all. Yeah. So I'm next week after I get off duty, I go on vacation, and during the excuse me, during that fire, I met one of our contractors that had equipment on the fire. He's got a mule that he's giving away, so I'm gonna go pick her up, and from what I'm told, she's rideable. So now I'm gonna have a rideable older mule.
Any
Yeah.
mule and any horse is rideable.
Exactly. And he says she's like a, she'll come over here and she'll sit there with her head on your shoulder. So I like a mule that's that friendly. So
Yeah.
it means she's not going to leave you. She likes people. But I'll get her out here, get her shod, and get her cleaned up, and I'll sand clear her and get her all ready. And as soon as our deer and elk tags are filled or expired, I'll be hitting it hard.
I got a unit open for bear. I was gonna go today, but my wife likes to make 18,000 appointments. So it was like 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and soccer practice. So
What is it, baby?
I will probably go in the morning. I'll jump on my mule and go hit a unit. And there's a lot of line in this unit, so it's kind of whatever I get is what I get.
There you go.
Good.
And I do have a video I need to get out from that bear we caught last week, which is a pretty good deal. I just kind of free cast it in and did some good walking. And then at the end of this, where I thought I'd find him, I think my old Vodka dog hit a trail and we ended up trailing it, but it went into the unit that's closed, of course. So, but we got him on the tree, got him up the tree. I actually pulled over there looking for my dogs. I couldn't see him. I could hear him. And I looked, just kind of looking over, and that old bear ran up that tree. I said, "Oh crap, it's going up the tree." The ferns and everything were so tall, I didn't see my dogs. I didn't see that bear either. So we ran in and let the dogs tree a little bit, pulled them off. I found some lobster mushrooms and
There you go.
made some burgers. Yeah.
What's
Lobsters.
a lobster mushroom?
Big old red one. Big red one.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull
Takes
it
you
up.
to the spirit world.
Not that's peyote. Let me see it. So it wasn't bad. I had my daughter with me too, so I it's so nice when you're hunting with someone else. So
Yeah.
nice. So
I
they can
Yeah.
pick you up.
you say that I just recently made a friend from or through my wife. One of our kids go to school with their daughter, so my wife made friends with the mother, and turns out they're from, I believe, Montana, and he was a houndsman up there. Ended up selling his hounds when he moved down here because he didn't know anything about Nevada. So
Yeah.
Yesterday and today I took him out with me to exercise the dogs, and his name's Cody, and he seems to be a really nice guy and someone I'd like to be friends with. So probably start
For
hunting
now.
with him. Yeah. For
Till he
now.
gets
That's a-
dogs.
That's
Oh,
a
I don't care if
lobster.
he gets dogs or not. If he wants to get dogs, it's all cool. It's cool. Like I'll help him train his dogs. I don't care. Another houndsman is another houndsman.
Yep.
I'm not a territorial guy until someone tries to hunt on top of me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lobster mushroom. That's what a lobster mushroom looks like.
Huh.
They're really good. I ate the crap out of them.
Okay.
They get real big sometimes too. So
I've never seen nothing like that.
yep. Eat the heck out of them. Stop screaming. Yeah, I don't. Every time I feel like I hunt with somebody, it starts out good, and then I don't know. People kind of bug me sometimes.
No, I 100% understand it. It's hard to find people that you can mesh with. He's super polite, super nice, almost to the side of where it's too nice and too polite. But I don't think it's a front. That's just who he is. He's
Just
just
how
a
he
nice
is.
guy. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So if nothing else, for a little bit, I'll have a hunting buddy. Otherwise, I'll just go back to hunting by myself.
Well, he either take your dogs or your wife, but as long as you don't take your dogs, you're all right.
Absolutely. They're the important thing.
She'll bring.
I got a lot of
He'll
money
bring the
invested
wife.
in them.
He'll bring the wife back. The dogs, maybe not. Yeah, it's nice to have somebody like my daughter goes with me, so we could drop each other off, vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to know I don't have to walk 6 miles this way and 6 miles back.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's
If
better
you
to
can-
walk 6 miles and 6 miles then back 6 miles. So
I agree. Yeah,
I'll
cover
hit a
12
road.
miles of fresh ground instead of,
Yep.
6 and 6 of
I hate
what you already covered.
going back. I hate going back. Absolutely hate going back. So
Yeah. The last one, the free mule, this will be my second free mule, but the first one, I broke him, 15, 18 years ago, and I broke him to pack. He was trained to pull a cart, but he was just super high strung, but he ended up being a fantastic mule. He just
Yeah.
got old, and he developed a calcium deposit on the inside of his rear hock, or not hock, but his ankle, about 4 inches above his cornet band, and it turned into a nodule about 1.5 inches across and about
Mm.
inch and a half long. And as he walked, he'd clip it with his other foot, so it always
No.
knocked that end open. And I thought, he just needs to be retired. So I put him
Couldn't
on
get it.
pasture, and
You couldn't cut it out?
for being a almost 30-year-old mule, I didn't want to
Yeah.
invest any money into him. Not that I thought he was going to die anytime soon, but he worked for a pack station for 15, 20 years, and I thought, hey, buddy, it's time to retire for you.
Yep. Time for you to go eat some
Yeah,
grass.
just hang out and enjoy life. So
Just lost my buddy that I hunted with for 13 years. He really pushed me to hunt more so I could have to go at it alone now. Good friends are hard to come by. We talked
Friends
about
are-
that too on the
Absolutely.
mentoring is finding someone that you don't have to beg to hunt, finding someone who begs you to hunt kind of deal.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, and not only that, just finding people that you can deal with. People that
That's
don't
the
annoy
tough
you.
part.
Yeah, now that I've gotten older, my mentality has changed a lot, and I just don't like people in general. There's very
Yeah.
few people that I enjoy being around anymore. Used to be, I was friends with everybody, and I've never been,
Now
kinda
you're
guy
just
that-
friendly with everybody,
yeah, Yeah.
not friend.
I was
So-
friendly with everybody, but not friends with everybody, right? Exactly.
Yep.
So, although I did have a big friends group, but now anymore, it's just like I learned that I was always that guy that made the effort to be friends with everybody.
Hmm.
Then I slowly realized, hey, I'm the guy that's always saying, "How's it going? Want to have a beer? Hey, how are you doing?" And my circle started to shrink. So
Wow. Yeah.
weird,
Once
huh?
It happens that way. Real
I think
quick.
it's just you get old. Like my best man. I mean, I might talk to him once every 3 months now. Right now, I don't talk to him at all because he's putting hay up.
Yeah.
He's
Well, he's
running his
busy.
dairy. He doesn't have a life, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I think it's part of getting older.
It's absolutely true. Yeah. And
When
it's
me
not
and
that
my
I don't.
buddies were in our 20s, they'd come over to my house uninvited and just sit and hang out at my house.
Oh yeah.
And it's now, you have kids, you have you're trying to be successful at work or whatever, and it's just no one has time to do anything anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah.
adulting.
I don't know if it's about not having time. I definitely don't make time to be hanging out with people that I just met.
Yes.
Like to develop those new relationships and making friends. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I have my family. I'm happy. Friends are great. Don't get me wrong. Friends are important, but family is where it's at.
Oh.
So that's what I concentrate on. And hey, if I don't have friends, oh well. I love my kids. I love my wife, and
Yep.
so
Yeah. I think you just you do what you need to do and don't worry about everybody else. And that's when the circle shrinkens is when
yeah.
you
And-
worry
and-
about yourself.
And I don't mean to diminish the fact that I've got literally, I do have friends that I would talk to the wife first, say, hey, so and so needs help. I got time off. I'm gonna go help them. Or hey, they just blew a transmission in freaking the middle of Wyoming. I got the time off. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm telling them I'm gonna go put some tires on a trailer. I'm gonna go pick them up right now. You know, not saying that I don't have good friends, but it's building those new relationships to make those friends. I've kind of lost the interest for that. Maybe
It's
it's because
hard in
I'm
the
getting to
hound
be
world
older.
too.
Yeah, the hound world kind of bunch of sissies.
Yep.
Very dramatic.
Well, I
You know,
mean, I've helped 2 guys out, and they both effed me over.
Yeah. See,
And
and
it's just,
that's
and it's
hard.
just like, what, dude? Like, I'm talking like I hunted with these guys for 2, 3 years, 4 years, and then,
when they don't need you, they don't need you,
Yeah.
or they find
And then-
somebody else
yeah, and
cheaper.
it's just, what the shit, dude? But so ever since then, I just have long distance hound friends, like you guys that don't come down here.
I do. I come down there and feed
Yeah.
them dirty
Yep.
tacos.
Tacos. 17-year-old elk tacos.
Hey,
Yep.
nope, nobody died, and I
No
fed
one
them to
died.
everybody at the hound rendezvous, and not one
know, we're
person
gonna have to-
only ate one.
We're gonna have to fly Rowdy down next year for that.
As long as the schedule's close to the same, let me know. I've got to apply for my vacation for next year,
So
as in 2025, by the August 31st or October 31st. So if you can figure out a date before now and say the middle of October, then I'll be able to put in for it.
So it's I tried to get it for the August 22nd, 3rd, 4th, like that weekend again, because I liked it because a lot of the out-of-staters come out and hunt if they wanted to. But
Yeah, they can
she
swing
looked
by.
up that campsite, and that campsite wasn't a bad one. Had some fire rings, had a bathroom, and I'm not a big campsite guy, but it was simple. And when she
Mhm.
looked it up for those dates, it says it's already taken. But it was probably the local guy there who rented it right after we left. That way we couldn't get back in there.
Mhm.
Not like we went in there and killed 18 bear, But and I wanted it for Thursday through Thursday because season opens Friday and it will probably shut down Wednesday down there. It always does.
Yeah.
So you get in there Thursday, you roll in Thursday, set up camp. Friday we do some cornhole competition or horseshoe competitions.
I'll have to brush up.
Do the auction and raffle Friday night, and then Saturday we have a dinner, and then Sunday we sit around like we was at church and tell a bunch of lies like we did.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
So how did everything go? Like I've watched a couple of the videos you guys talked about it, but the flow of everything, did everything work out right? Was everything in
for what it was?
step?
For what we had, it worked out, but nothing went to how it was supposed to besides the dinner. And she served that. It was all good. Really good tri-tip. We were going to do the auction Friday, but we just all sat around and talked, didn't do it. We were going to do it Saturday morning. We were just all sitting around. There's probably 20 of us around my horse trailer. And then we just said, yeah, we got to auction these dogs off. So my daughter ran one up. Another 12-year-old girl ran one up. And then the third one, everybody threw in money for that 12-year-old girl to have. So,
Nice.
I mean, we raised $940 just on the dogs.
Good.
So, yep.
Glad to hear that.
And then a couple people, when they left, they just kind of shook your hand and left $100 bill in it. That's how we got the 940, all of it that morning. And that was a
awesome,
very
man.
unplanned. Let's just have a fire. Diane Fair said, I got a place. We can do this. Because she does that stuff. She does. I think she throws a lot of those.
Well, that's really cool that she offered, because it worked out perfect for you guys, and I sure wish I could have made it, but it sounds like overall it was a good success.
I got there Thursday. Some people got there Friday. We couldn't get in till Saturday because someone rented it Friday. There was a big rainstorm. It was raining and thundering, and we thought they would cancel and we could just get in there Friday night. Nope. These people showed up for one night, and this place is 2, 3, 4 hours from anywhere.
Mm.
I mean, it's 2 hours from Globe. It's
Yep.
not more. So Phoenix is probably 3 hours, 4 hours. And they showed up one night and left.
Hmm.
So that was probably the only drawback is we couldn't get in until Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So we really only had a couple days there, and she actually rented it till Wednesday. So anybody who wanted to stay there, Jeremy from Louisiana Hunting stayed there. He hunted with the rancher. Oh, he got him in some dirty spots. I ought to bring him on, tell a story. So
Yeah.
He did see a lion jack though.
they did. Got a rattlesnake, chased
Yeah.
a lion. So, yep. That's going to catch the game again. Chris, how many camp spots are in that campground? How many people? It's just 6 acres.
Yeah,
I mean,
could,
you could-
I don't know.
We had 50, 60 people there.
If no one brought dogs, you could easily get 100 people there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Plus, you
If
have
no
the
one brought
whole.
dogs.
So
Plus
is
you
it
have-
just Forest Service? Is it a Forest Service campground? BLM?
It is. It is.
So is it surrounded by Forest Service?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, it's
Okay, so
surrounded
then-
by a million acres of forest.
So then outside that, you could do dispersed camping.
Oh, you don't have to camp there.
Oh, well, exactly. So that's what I'm getting at, right? So if we
Yeah.
were to designate, hey, look, guys, there's a million acres of dispersed camping right here, as
First
many
come,
people
first
as we
serve.
can fit. We're just gonna we're gonna save the campgrounds just for people that don't have dogs. But if you have dogs, please let's go to the dispersed camping. Anywhere along the road that's a turnout that you could park. You know, this is the way the wind blows, so I suggest you camp on this side of the road because that way you don't get dusted out every day. Whatever.
Yep.
Here are the water spots that we located. So for filling up, water cans to bring back to your dogs, these are the best sites. When you're done there, please bring a shovel, bury
Yeah.
all the crap.
Yep.
You know, let's leave it better than we found it. Pick up your trash. If it's a campsite and it was trash there before you got there, clean up all the trash, take it with you. Hey, if you need a truck to throw your trash bags in, we're gonna have a trailer there and we're gonna take it to the dump. Just small amenities. I'll be willing to help. If I can help plan it, I'll go rent a trailer, whatever, beforehand, or if I have to haul a trailer down there to haul crap, I'll try to be there next year to help.
Yeah, old Wayne Bisbee, he showed up, and I think he was moving to Montana, someone said. So he was packed up. He had his whole family. They camped right on the side of the road. Dirty old wood dog ball. He didn't give a shit.
He was
was
Jay
there to
Clampett going down the road.
He was. He did. He was piled up. But he's
That's
nice.
me to a
as can
T
be.
right there.
He called me. He called me after and said, "Hey, whatever I need to
Exactly,
do."
Tim. Nothing but footprints.
Yep. And Missy's right. That was just the first year that we threw together. I mean, we just threw
Yeah.
it like, "Hey, let's do this." Oh, I got a spot. Well, heck, we'll go there. Even Brett, even me, I'm like, "Oh man, I don't camp in designated camping area. That's stupid and
No.
pussified." But it wasn't bad. It was a nice camp spot, and we just kind of spread out. I mean, even if you bring your dogs, there's some room in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So me, it's like first come, first serve, pile in. I brought 10 dogs, so left with 12.
Well, I'll try to, depending on dates next year, I'll come down and I'll rent a truck and a U-Haul trailer or something if I need to haul trash, whatever. And then if not, if it's during hunting season, then I'll come down and bring probably like a 2-horse trailer or something.
Yep. Tim, there's certain areas, certain campgrounds that you can reserve.
Mhm.
But if that's not available, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm even going to go down there. But I'll probably try to keep it the same time, just that archery. Because I feel like the archery bear hunt in some units, that one was rifle, but the archery, no, yeah,
That was archery, I thought.
archery bear, archery deer, and lion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Either way, I brought my longbow and I was trying to shoot anything. So when I left Sunday. I had to be back. I wanted to stay, but I had to be back. I left Sunday, and man, we left early enough to get home by dark, but we kept seeing deer. So I kept getting out and stalking them out, hoping just to get me a lucky shot. So
I
mean, it's a
understand
nice
that.
area.
Heck yeah.
And it's about $310 for an out-of-stater to come hunt, license
Hunt.
and tag.
Deer
Bear.
or bear?
Bear.
Oh,
I don't know what the hunt license is $160. Bear is $150. Lion is $75, and I don't know what deer is. I have to look at it.
I
That's
think pretty
deer's,
damn
deer's
reasonable.
expensive.
Is it? No, I think isn't it
It's
150?
300.
Is it 300 for deer? I know it's 650 for elk.
It's 300 for deer.
Oh, but who wants to shoot a little tiny deer when you can shoot a bear or lion?
That's right.
Right. So I
So-
may plan on that next year, and then I'll bring the wife and kids, and
Yep.
it'll be the plan to
That's-
get the wife a bear, because she's
I'm
never
gonna
shot a bear
bring-
and she wants to shoot one.
Oh yeah, I'll burn her tag up. I'll go with you. I'm not gonna burn mine up, So
Yeah.
I didn't bring my family. They had some other stuff going on, but I think if we had a bunch of kids there, it'd be a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd
Yeah.
be great. We had some kids there. They
Well,
ran-
I'll bring 3 monsters myself.
Yeah. Cold Strike gear showed up. Colorado. So we had people from Colorado. Robert Chase, he came. He actually camped with me Friday night. So we went down and found
Poor
Wayne
guy.
Bisbee and gave him some shit. And did you see what they got me?
I didn't know.
So they watch my videos. I'm gonna have to unplug. Give me a second.
I like the new tack room. That's nice. Look at these guys. They just bail on me. Hey, I'm just gonna go over here.
Me?
What?
My wife's not home, and I got a dog that likes to keep getting out, so I got a tracking collar on.
Excuses.
I know.
Yep. So they watch my videos, and I'm always hunting on the golf course.
Yeah.
So they made me a little present.
A scoped
Yep.
golf club.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nothing's gonna
Perfect.
stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me now. I'm
Yeah,
on.
that's pretty
Oh,
funny.
that's
there.
great.
And they got Wayne. They got Wayne, not Wayne. They got Benny. They got Benny a cape with the Lorex
Oh,
on it.
Super
It
Benny?
says Benny the Stomper.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And they got
That's
Brett
cool.
something too. The Tennessee boys, they showed up, and they didn't show up empty-handed. They had an ice chest, and you know what they make in Tennessee in those hills. That's all I'm
Something
gonna
shiny.
say. I'm just saying there was some butterscotch, there was some apple pie, they had, I don't know,
Dang.
10. They had
That sounds
10. Oh.
like heaven right there.
So all I'm saying is I have some in my fridge, a whole quart of it.
Good for you. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that.
I gave my father-in-law a little sip today. He goes, that ain't 35%. I said, no, that's about 110. They said it was about 110. I said, it'll warm you up. It does. You take a little sip and it just,
Ooh,
yep.
I like it.
And it's real smooth. I was really surprised
That
that it
when
was good.
someone a family has been doing it for a long time, and you taste
Mhm.
their stuff, it's noticeable. Because I had a buddy that tried learning how to make it. He never did follow up with it, but it wasn't horrible, but it sure had some fumes to it. And then I tied in with some people years before that their family had been making it for a couple generations, and that stuff was better. It's like drinking Pendleton. It was
Yeah.
just smooth, had
No,
good
just-
flavor. Sit there and sip it. Oh, and then I tried one time. Oh, that wrecked me. It was a different one. It's somebody else at a party. Came in clear. Hey, you want some moonshine? Sure. Took 2 sips of it, and then within like 3 minutes, I had heartburn. And I don't
Oh.
just mean heartburn. I mean the worst heartburn I've ever had. I still never had heartburn that bad.
Well,
I chased it with beer, and maybe that was what caused it. I don't know, but it put me out of commission for the rest of the night. Like I was chewing Tums, drinking milk, just trying to get rid of it. It was
I think-
horrible.
I tell you what, this stuff is dangerous because I bet you could do probably 3 shots of it, and you'll feel it, and it's
Yeah.
smooth. It's like that flavored stuff. That flavored stuff it tricks you. I mean, I bet you could just start drinking on it, and then done.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
the good stuff that's made right and has good smooth flavor, and then you throw in a little bit of something to enhance it, whether it's apple pie, whatever, peach. Oh, that stuff's dangerous. So
This was butterscotch, and I like butterscotch.
yeah,
No, we
What
don't
was-
have hound. We don't have hound permits.
yeah.
Tim.
Was it
And
Tim that? Who was the last guy that mentioned me? I saw my name, but I was flapping my jib and I didn't catch everything they said.
It
Oh.
was a taste to see
Taste.
if
Test
You're
to see if
able
you're
to
able to
run the
run the
show.
show if they're hunting. It was a taste.
task. I know we tried to, so we did a live out there too Saturday. We had Joe Hott. He's a lion hunter and just one of them mesmerizing guys that once he starts talking stories,
Yeah.
flows.
Some
So-
guys just have that knack. I don't have that storytelling knack. I'm jealous.
Because you're
Yeah.
not 80 years old.
Some guys, they can tell a story and you're just like, and what
No.
happened next?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
this guy,
"Hey,"
this is the guy that tells a story and you want to go out and chase lions right then.
right?
Yeah.
Some
bear.
people are awesome at storytelling. I'm jealous.
Oh, the average bear size is
Yes, ma'am.
150, 200 pounds, but there's some big ones here.
Where's
I've
Mama?
seen some 350s and
He's outside.
400s. So, well, she looks angry.
I don't know. Go outside and find her.
Why don't you smile? Why don't you smile, little girl?
Say hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Hi,
Brooklyn.
Her name's Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Here, let's get that crazy hair out of it. She's got her mama
Oh.
hair. And it's just so long and really thick. Okay, she's going. Okay.
So, I've had some apple pie from Virginia one time. The guy said, "Now slow down, son. That's sipping whiskey."
And it
Man,
was.
it is. It is. You probably should just
we
kind
all
of
make
sip
that
on that.
mistake.
Hmm. But it's so
Yeah.
good. The flavor's
Been
so
there.
good and smooth. You're like, but that 110 they hit you faster than that 35.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah,
You know?
I've been wrecked, straight wrecked. And it's horrible.
Yeah.
Don't
No one
recommend.
got. Robert, I think you're probably the drunkest. I don't even know if he got drunk. He's just beer drunk. So we stayed up, BS. We ate. They had a little tent set up where we ate, and we just talked and told stories. And
That's good, man. Glad to
it
hear
was
that.
actually a really good time. Even Brett's not a big people person. You know, on a mule in the middle of nowhere talking to himself, he can do it. But as far as
Yeah.
it was he liked it. I couldn't hear him that good. I couldn't get him closer to that. We had that mic turned up too, you know. But Brett has the audio, I'm hoping, to where there's no glitches in it. Because on YouTube it just videoed the glitches. His system hopefully recorded the whole thing. So I'm gonna try to get a podcast out of it.
Nice.
And I might be able to turn it up. So, but I hunted with Joe like 10 years ago on a cancer kid hunt. And that guy, he's no joke. You know, him and our son. I hunted with Destry too, you know. So, and that guy was just it was dark and he chasing a lion, and he just dove. He goes, "I'm just gonna keep going." Full moon, man. He just dove off into a canyon in the dark with a big old horse following hounds. So
You mentioned that the cancer kid thing, and I hope to start being able to help and do hunts like that.
hunt of a
I bought an.
lifetime.
What's that?
It's called Hunt of a Lifetime. The mom, the lady who started it, her kid wanted to hunt, and Make a Wish kind of said, "Go f yourself," because they don't do the hunts.
Yeah.
So she started Hunt of a Lifetime, and I got into that. I actually just emailed her like last year and turned in all my paperwork, but I haven't. There's not a lot of lion hunters, you know. We were hunting down there in Tonto Basin, so
Yeah. So I want to be able to take out not specifically people in a wheelchair, but mobility impaired. I've got an Argo that I bought this year. It's an 8-wheeler, and I want to put tracks on it, and I want to put like a headache rack system on it with a roll bar system that's got a boom that turns out and can lift people that are in a wheelchair. And I've done a little bit of work with them in the past when I was guiding, and then I deal with a lot with them at work, of course. So they make a cradle system, so it's webbing with canvas or similar material in between the webbing. It's got eyelets up top, so then you just hook a hook into it, and you can lift them up out of their chair. So you lift them up, put their chair in place, get their chair strapped down, and they're just sitting in basically what we call like a cradle now, right? For the
yeah.
tree stand hunters. So they're just sitting there in a cradle holding on to it. And then you just pivot them over, set them down in their chair, and then get them buckled back, or get them back in. And some chairs have a buckle, but I would have a buckle system that would hold them into their chair because of what would be traversing, of course, probably mostly snow hunts for mobility impaired, trying to get them on a lion. But that's my goal, is I want to be able to do that. And so I've got the Argo. I just need to get it running right. I bought it, used, of course, because I'm not gonna. I can't afford a brand new Argo. So, I'm trying, and I got it, and I got to put new tires on it, and I got to get it running. It's got a few electrical issues, and it needs the carburetor cleaned and probably just rebuilt. But that's my plan, is to help mobility impaired, and maybe even do like the Wounded Warrior hunts. I've signed up for it this year, trying to help, and I haven't gotten any contacts back. But I signed up at the Reno Sheep Show, and like I said, nobody's contacted me yet. But I'd like to get that whole thing set up so that I can take them out and have tracks on it and be able to hunt in the snow.
I think there's plenty enough veteran warrior, wounded warrior, veteran hunters. I think there's plenty of people out there doing that. I think what needs to be concentrated on is fatherless kids.
And
girls or boys.
and I'm not opposed to that at all. And it's just I'd like.
That's
to
why I started Campfire Roots. I started it, and it's going through the C3 process. But I think we got to get that younger generation. I think a lot of times there's a lot of single parents out there. I mean, even a single father, if he's just raising, he's not going to have a whole lot of time or money to probably hunt. So I'd really like, my goal is to start a program start to finish, especially on these OTC hunts where you can probably get an elk, teach them how to camp, teach them how to set up a camp, teach them how to hunt, teach them how to process. You know what I mean? Teach them how to store.
Oh, absolutely. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Once people learn about hunting and figure out, what the steps are. To me, it sounds like the processing the animal, as far as getting them off the mountain and preserving the meat, it seems to be the biggest hurdle for most people. So
I think when you talk about hunting, and then this kind of segues to from Monday Night Live and hey, there's my I'll just say there's my apple pie guy right there. First thing I get from my state, man. First thing is I get it from my state. My state, man. Damn asphalt guys, anyways. There's one right there. Right there. I should have given you that apple pie. You would have liked it. I should have swiped both of them. I should have been a selfish, stingy bastard and swiped them. But what was I talking about?
Taking
Oh,
boys hunting.
it's hunting. Hunting.
It's-
Hunting is killing, and that's what people have in their head. Bloody killing, And yesterday they were talking about Chris Powell and Ed Barnes were talking about social media and kind of what to do, what to put. Same thing we talked about Monday. We were talking about what's good to put on there. And I swear, Monday we talked about it. Next day, I see a bear get shot out of a tree by a guide on her personal profile, and it falls and hits the ground. Nobody, I don't care about your First Amendment right, and everybody, that's like when we're in such a delicate situation as a houndsman, you just don't really want to put that up there. As a hunter, not just a houndsman, that's just stuff that's what turns a non-hunter into an anti-hunter.
Yeah.
So,
Well, just like talking to an anti-hunter or non-hunter, you have to say harvest instead of kill.
yeah, and you get
Exactly.
people who get mad about it. I ain't
I get
effing
mad
saying
about it.
harvest.
And
I hate saying
it's
harvest.
absolutely.
It's politeness. That's
It's
what we were just
polite.
talking about. You're either a friend or you're friendly, and you have to be
Yeah.
friendly. You don't have to be
Yeah,
their friend.
but
You have to be friendly.
Yep.
when you're teaching a kid about it, you can't say you're harvesting that deer. You got to explain to that kid how serious it is. You're putting a projectile through the boiler room so he loses fluid.
Yep.
You got to explain to someone that's new to hunting and interested in hunting. You have to explain how serious it is. It's actually killing. Now, you talk to somebody that you're trying to convince it's okay. You have to say harvest because they're never going to hunt anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how serious you make it sound. You just have to kind of go around.
And so the biggest thing to me is terminology, right? So because you use one word in place of another word, you're not changing the mechanics of the action.
No.
You are changing the perception of the mechanics of that action. So nothing's changing other than this person that might be opposed to it. If you explain it to them harshly, if you'd explain it to them softly, now they understand it and they're not opposed to it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And it's all based off of conditioning. Right. So if you teach someone softly about how things go, it's different than throwing someone to the wolves.
I think it's like a toddler and an adult. As a toddler, let's say a toddler and a teenager. Toddler, you spank them. That's harsh. A teenager, you take away their car. You don't have to touch them. When you're explaining things, that's kind of what you're doing. Is that less harsh? They should know better by now. When you're talking to people who are adults hunting, they should know better by now. They should know, but they don't want to listen. It's a trend. Like Valerie's, she's she's in the trapping association, and she's right. Use the word trophy, and they have taken that word and made it a bad word.
Exactly, Tim.
And Tim Brink.
Harvesting is it links that in people's head because you're harvesting it to eat. That's that's a very good point, Tim.
Someone was talking about it's almost bad to say to keep capitalizing on we eat everything too. But I don't understand how. I don't remember who it was. It just kind of popped in my.
Well,
There's very
Then-
few things that we don't eat. So everything that we, for the vast majority, everything that we harvest, everything that we kill is we're eating it. So I can kind of understand why they're bringing it up, but in reality, there's very few things that we're gonna hunt that we're not gonna harvest, meaning we're not taking it for food. So maybe what, ground squirrels, coyotes, wolves. That's the three that I can think of offhand. Even grizzly bears, right? So what's the difference between a grizzly bear and a black bear? Color and size. So you're
That's a
gonna
lot
eat
of
it, right?
meat. That's a lot of meat.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
that's a hell of a ton of meat. That's like differentiating between a deer and an elk, right?
Yep.
They're both deer. Elk is bigger, deer smaller, but they're both deer, so you're gonna eat them. So I don't
think
see any difference personally.
I think you think of a coyote more of a nuisance than a lion as a nuisance. But so they don't worry about eating a coyote. But you're also talking about a lion, which is a majestic animal.
Yeah.
So that's their vision. That's their perception of it, is it's a very majestic animal. And we all agree it's a badass, majestic animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
cool.
It does just as much damage as a coyote or a wolf. The difference is that meat's better than a coyote.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's a more of a table fare style of meat, meaning there's not a harsh flavor to it, and more people are going to be willing to eat it than a coyote.
Like lettuce and cabbage. Not a lot of people like cabbage, but everybody mostly eats lettuce.
You got a point right there. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the same concept.
You're right, Jeremiah.
Didn't
Got
Steve
churched up.
Ranella eat? Didn't
He ate
they
a coyote
do
in Mexico, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I don't think if you did not know what it was, and they just came out and they were serving meat, and everything's good in tacos or tamales. You know what I
If we throw
mean?
enough seasoning on it, you're going to cover up the flavor. So
I got enough
Even
dove
burrow.
this weekend. I did a dove hunt this weekend. Jared, you should have come up for that.
You didn't invite me. I saw you going. I got the picture on my phone.
So it's all Jared would have to do is say, "Where am I at? Where are you at?"
You were in Globe, and I was
he's
making
probably like
fun of
me.
you.
And couldn't
Oh,
hit
he
a flat
did.
side
His
of a barn with a
wife-
shotgun, anyways.
His stalking wife was taking pictures of me in Globe and ratting me out.
Yep.
I told
be
my
right
wife, I said, am I a celebrity that I'm getting pictures from people saying where I'm at when they're 200 miles away?
My
You
wife, she didn't know who you were. She's like, check out this freaking rig. And it was your Toyota and your horse trailer and everything. She's like, he looks like Jed Clampett right now. That trailer's loaded to the hilt and he's loaded all the way up to his truck bed. And I was like, hey, I know that truck.
You remember that guy came down and helped me and had that 10-year-old meat?
Yep.
That be him.
That'd be him. That's what I told her.
Small world.
Yep.
Well, in my
Well, she was
truck
in Sholo. She was in Sholo.
that was in Globe.
Well, yeah, but before.
Oh yeah,
had
she
a-
was in Sholo, yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to church it up a bit, and you do.
You
'Cause
do.
these people are already timid, very timid.
Soft.
They're very soft. They didn't get beat at a 2-year-old. As a 2-year-old, if we as hunters quit hunting those that eat grass, would run out of food first. Oh yeah, that's a fact.
What?
If we quit hunting the ones that eat grass, let's see. Let me put it back up. If we as hunters quit hunting those that eat grass, would run out of food first.
Yep.
And
It's true.
I think it is hard for people to understand the enjoyment of the process rather than the finish line, whether you're hunting elk in the rut, rigging bears, dry ground lions, or calling ducks. And it's not, that's where you go to an enjoyment. It's not even the it's the whole tradition. Brett tells that story, and I've been telling this story a lot to where, why do we do the things we do? I should hire her as a PI, put her to work. Hey, a little kid running in there.
He's talking to me.
I think
All right, baby.
I've been telling this story where Brett, he tells a story about the lady who used to cut off the ends of the roast, and her husband says, "Why you cut off the ends of the roast?" I'm probably messing it up, but it's the same story. And I don't know. My mom did it. She asked her mom, "Why do you cut off the ends of the roast?" I don't know. Your grandmother did it. She asked the grandmother, "Why'd you cut off the ends of the roast?" She says, "Because my crock pot was too small."
Is she okay?
So it's just it bleeds down, and that's the same with hunting, fishing. If you watch football, if you cook tamales every Christmas, we all cut off the ends of and we don't know why.
Yep.
Because it's just how it's done, and it's because it's how it's been done.
Yep.
And then what happens is that generation doesn't use a crock pot no more, and they start buying the food at McDonald's.
And it doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make sense anymore because they don't know nothing about a crock pot and why they don't even care why they cut the ends off the roast.
Do you know what bugs me?
We were keeping it one day.
Is seeing hunters in the mountains, and they don't even know what's in the mountains.
Absolutely.
Like,
There's
it
people-
would blow your mind on how many deer hunters I run into. And they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, I had one guy, I got that over and under shotgun that I carry slugs in for lions. And he's all, "You got a lot of dogs for chucker." This is when I lived in Nevada in the summers. And I'm like, I'm not hunting chucker.
Long-eared dogs for chucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's all, "What are you hunting out here then if them ain't for chucker?" He's like, "What are you hunting out here for with them pointers then? If it ain't for chucker." He thought all my dogs were just weird colored GSPs. And I was all, "I'm lion hunting."
There's lions out here?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's just like, dude, you put in a deer tag.
Yeah.
Like,
no clue.
No clue. You didn't even know there's a season on them,
We went out.
I've ran into a couple now, and they're like, "Lions are down this low?"
Down
like,
this low.
You're deer hunting. We're at 7,000 feet. Low? They literally live down to the ocean.
Yeah. They live all over the place.
Down to the tip of freaking South America.
Yeah.
Literally from Alaska to South America.
Old Lion Hunter had, I don't know if it was on one of Brett's podcasts or whatever, but I can't remember which old time lion hunter it was. The guy asked him, he's like, "What's good lion habitat?"
Uncle Jim.
What do lions like? All this and that. Where do they hang out? And the old timers like, "Good lion habitat's where a lion's at."
Right.
And he was serious about it, because they're everywhere. They literally can be anywhere.
I was just telling Jared a little bit while ago that I cut a track this morning exercising dogs at about 9 o'clock. I'm literally in sand dunes. The only thing that keeps you from seeing each dune is just the sage and grass or whatever that's growing on top of the dunes.
Greasewood.
Greasewood, sage, and it's that super fine blow sand, right? So it's not just, river bottom sand. And it looked to me like it'd be, a 6-month-old lion track that I found, about the size of a Copenhagen can, top of a beer can, size. And so the dogs worked it backwards by about half a mile, turned it around, came back, and they started working it the other way. And then about 10:30, I called them off because it was starting to get too hot. But literally 5 miles from the nearest mountain, you can see them in the distance. It's hazy, right? Can't see trees, can't see nothing. It's just a blue haze over the front of it. And we're out in the middle of a giant valley. sand dunes. Of course, it's the termination of there's lakes and whatnot out there, so there's water, but there's horses, there's cows, there's deer, coyotes, lions are there.
Yep.
We was going bear hunting, and I used to hunt out of my old '87 Suburban. I had dog boxes in the back, and I only had dog boxes because one female lifted her leg and pissed in the back of that truck. So now all the males decided. So I had to put them in boxes.
Yeah.
We're coming through forestry. I stopped and talked to a forestry guy drilling trees. You know how they do the little whatever they do. And I said, "Seen any bear?" He said, "No bear here." I said, "No, there's bear here." And he's like, "Oh." I said, "Yeah, we're gonna go hunt some bear." And he said, "Okay." We went up. We went to a mountain. I swear to God, we caught this bear in 2 hours. Come back through. And I had a rack. I have a rig rack on the front of my Suburban. It's the one on the back of that quad. If you've seen any of my videos, that rig rack on the back of my quad goes on the front of my Suburban too. I'd put them on the front of my big bumper. I came back through with a 300-pound bear, and I said, "Check this bear out." And he said, "I thought you was just messing with me. I didn't know there was bears here." I'm all, "You work for forestry, and you don't know there's bears here?" You know, and that's just kind of the knowledge of people. Like you have. This is what drives me crazy. You don't need to go to college. If you want to learn how to do a physics problem, get on the internet and find it. You'll find it. If you want to know how to tear apart a 350,
I see you.
and I say 350 Chevy because those always break down, you'll find
Yep.
it. So if you want to know how to rebuild a differential, if you want to know how to make tamales, I learned how to make tamales, make fry bread, everything on YouTube. Everything. Right now, before I got on, I'm like, I'm gonna start streaming on Facebook. So I was on YouTube trying to figure out how to do it on Facebook. You know, anything you want is on that internet. And
Absolutely.
if
Like,
that world ends, that you could take and just print out. You don't even have to read. Look up uses for a tampon. No lie. 100 uses. Print it out.
Yeah.
Water filters, blood clotters. Like there's just 1,000 uses for it. You can make a candle out of it, you know?
I learned how to
Sometimes-
rebuild a transmission off of YouTube, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
all about how much you are willing to try. All you have to do is search it, and you're going to learn how to do it, and then you have to do the physical labor.
Mhm.
My dad had a Tundra and the starter went out. And I sent him a video. And I said, "Look, it only takes 7 minutes to change that starter." Because it was a 7-minute video. It takes like 2 hours to change the starter. But I said, "Look, it only takes 7 minutes to change that starter right there on YouTube." The guy did it in 7 minutes. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
whining about.
Right.
But everything's on YouTube.
Mhm.
Everything. Whatever you want to know is on YouTube. If you want to know how to plant a garden, like there's no reason when the grid goes down, like they say it's going to go down, and there's no reason you shouldn't know how to do it. The
Yeah.
problem is people are lazy and they watch it, but at least print it out and put it in a notebook. And then at least when it goes down, you can go in there and reference it. But no, people like to
Just
get
buy
on
the
TikTok.
Foxfire books.
There's so many books out there, even on TikTok. I think Brett asked me, my dad is like, "I hate TikTok." I'm like, "I learn on TikTok." "Well, what do you learn on TikTok?" "Recipes." I ordered books, survival books. I've ordered just watching TikTok. I've gotten other leads to go to other places. You know, the internet is how you use it. For them to ban TikTok is ridiculous, because if you want to look at boobies, you think banning TikTok is going to stop that? Man,
No. So, from what I understand, the reason for banning it is because it's a Chinese company and they're collecting all of our data, meaning they're collecting our
Yeah.
phone identifications, our geolocations everywhere we go,
mhm,
our homes and addresses,
yeah.
our all of our, like, they're able to, because of the permissions
Yeah,
on the
but
phone,
Have,
they're able to
Listen-
get even your credit card information. So,
that's
Uh,
on TikTok, right?
yeah.
yeah,
What about Facebook? What about Snapchat? And who makes
This is-
these phones? Who
Yes.
makes these phones? You're telling me the
oh,
guy
actually,
had a
they're built in
Roomba.
Taiwan. So, which
Guy
is
had
what
a-
China's trying to get a hold of. Taiwan is separate from China, but China owns TikTok. They built the app itself, so
Mhm.
all of their information was stored on servers in China, and that's what the big issue was. And now they're trying to stop all that information from being stored in China.
So, have you guys ever listened to the Sean Ryan show? He's a podcaster.
A little bit.
He had this CIA computer geek nerd on there. And they learned, you know those Roombas?
They can hook to your Bluetooth, and then they can transmit through your phone just because your phone's hooked to it.
Yeah. And they listen to everything just like what
Yeah.
TikTok's doing. And it's a Bluetooth Roomba.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
made in
No.
China.
What does the Roomba do? It maps
Sean,
your house.
you're right. I was. That was my next thing after we get off this is to get back on track.
I know. All right.
Okay.
No,
China's
we'll
always
talk about
listening,
that.
is what I'm saying.
I'm glad the
Yeah.
guy kind of we rabbit hole real bad, but
Yeah.
hey,
Oh, it's
this
super
is the
bad.
first time in an hour and 16 minutes anybody even asked. So thank you,
Right.
Sean, for
Has
pulling
it
us
been
out of
that
the
long
rabbit
already? Holy cow!
hole.
Oh, it is 6:12. So,
So
but anyways, yeah. I don't.
listen,
We don't
let's
have
go.
anything.
Let's go
that
to
does
why we started
voice
this
activated.
conversation. Let's go to why we started the barking conversation. Because I had the same problem. As Rowdy was like, we should talk about dog barking. Because when you
Yeah.
leave town, what happens?
Oh, so my dog's all listening to me great. I can yell out to them and they shut up. But I'm also the kind of guy that'll go out and discipline them. When I'm gone, my wife yells at them and she'll go out there and she just turns the sprinklers on and it also quiets them down. Not as effectively as me yelling at them, but when she leaves to take the kids to school, she gets back and the dogs are hoarse voiced.
Yeah.
And so anytime we leave, the dogs are barking. And I was like, hey, why don't we just talk about that? So what's everybody doing to keep the dogs quiet when you're not home?
It's the same with me. I've been out of town for 4 years. My 10-year-old boys have been feeding my dogs since they were 6 years old, basically, and they just go out and dump food. I'll listen to them. I'm home now. I'll walk out there while they're barking, right? I'll walk through those cedar trees. Those dogs see me and they run to their boxes. They know. Uh-oh. I have somebody who has the answer to everything right here.
Yep.
Oh, it's that spear. He's gonna use the
Hey,
spear.
show
Watch out, guys.
show Rowdy your cape real quick. He hadn't seen it yet.
I like it.
It would be a cape, but it was made for somebody with a neck.
I feel you. I'm not far behind you here. I got that short neck syndrome myself.
Oh
Yeah.
man!
And
So what are you
and
guys
that
discussing tonight?
dog barking, and we've been talking rabbit holes for an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, we chased the shit out of those rabbits, but yeah.
So
it's
Sean
about-
finally grabbed us and pulled us out like a dachshund in a badger hole by the tail.
Dogs.
you
grabbed
know-
a hold of us and just drug us out.
Yep.
Well, dogs are supposed to bark so you know where they're at.
Well,
That is
my neighbors
true.
know where my dogs are.
Oh yeah. Well, that's different.
You know,
My dogs. I live by myself out here. My driveway is 3/4 of a mile long, and there was nobody around. And I don't like hearing my dogs bark. I'd get up in the middle
Yep.
of the night and go out there and knock the snot out all
Yep.
of them.
Yep.
Just one little peep, and them son of a guns would get throttled.
No, I understand. Yeah, the same thing here. Just my dogs are barking when I'm out of town, and they're, it's summer now. I haven't been hunting much because I'm busy, and my dogs
they
are
get
not
bored.
ran down, so they're full of energy, and they're barking whenever the wife leaves. They listen to her when she's home because she turns the sprinklers on for them, and they shut up and go in their dog houses. But as soon as she's gone, taking the kids to school, going to pick up the kids, it takes about an hour, 2 hours, depending on morning or evening, or morning or afternoon. And when she gets back in the afternoon, the dogs are hoarse. Can't hardly hear them bark.
See, I used to set mine up when people would say, "Hey, when you leave, we can hear your dogs over there." Okay. So I'd act like I was leaving and have somebody else drive my pickup away. And the instant that stuff started, and I didn't have a sprinkler, I had a stick, and I knocked the crap out of them. And
Maybe that's what I need to do.
yeah, and I don't care which one was barking and which one wasn't. If you just choose one and just knock the hell out of them and scream and holler and cuss and throw a fit, and then along with that, I'd go up and down the kennels and rake that stick on all the kennels and go to almost like I was just having a schizophrenic meltdown. And man, howdy, those dogs. Yeah, one of them lets a peep and they'd all haul ass for their doghouse.
Damn, yeah, you guys pissed Benny off again, guys. My
At least it wasn't
favorite-
the spears, just the stick.
In the old days, back in the 90s, they said you grab that dog and hold his head underwater, stuff his head in water. That was an old school deal. But I'm lazy. I don't want to get wet. I don't want to walk all the way out there. So where I had my dogs in the beginning was right out my front door. I'm a Daisy BB gun sniper. I knew which you shoot that Daisy enough, you know it shoots to the left, how much it drops. And now I walk out that door. For one, when they are barking and I'm walking through the house, they know they can hear you.
Mhm.
And I would, once that door came open, they'd go in. But I shake that BB gun, you hear nothing but the chains, all the chains going in the dog
Straight
box.
back to the houses. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got my son. So I said, so all you got to do is take that BB gun and shake it. So I'm back home now. And that, I'm telling you, that works at a distance, and those bark collars, I got a Labrador I have to keep on the chain because he'll go dump thousands of dollar dog. They got $3,000 in training them. The dog's great. You put a collar on him, he goes to work. Put a collar on him, he'll shut up. So those dogs, you go out and put a collar on them, and they won't bark. It drives me crazy. They will not bark. And if you know your
Well-
dog's good enough, when my
Yeah.
dirty dog, my 10-year-old dog barks, there's either another male in that yard or someone's coming in heat. That's the only reason he'll just. Now he's 10 and 11. You'll see in this video I got. I think he's going deaf. He'll just sometimes bark out there now. I think he's getting old, But that's how I do it. A Daisy BB gun. So anybody walks out there and shakes that BB gun, you go out the back door now. I got them in a different spot in a bunch of cedars. You can't see them from the roads. I don't hear them at night. I ask my neighbors, I was like, hey, man, my dog's. She goes, man, I hear you yelling more than the dog's barking.
Well, that's
All right.
good. Heck yeah.
Yeah. I hear you call them idiots and stuff. I said, well, sometimes that's my kids. Sometimes I'm yelling
It
at
could be
myself.
kids, could be my wife. I don't know.
At myself. I walk out there and do something and forget. I'm like, you effing idiot. And then I have to walk all the way back to the shop. But that's how I keep my dogs. I think if you train them with the BB gun, they know you can get them at a distance. You know what I mean? So
I had one dog that I couldn't make him quit yipping. And I mean, if he was in the kennel or on a chain, or it didn't matter. If he was loose, he didn't act that way, but it was boredom, and he was letting you know that he needed to go do something. And I was going to kill him. He'd gotten under my skin that bad because I got to win, And so a saddle maker wanted him real bad. And I told him, that dog will run over the top of you. He says, well, but I still love that dog. So I traded that dog for a custom made saddle.
Best deal you ever made.
Yeah, but it took him a year and a half to make that saddle. And every time I'd go over there to his house, that dog was bark, bark, bark. And there was a couple times that he wasn't home. And I thought, I haven't been paid by that with that saddle yet. I should just kill that dog.
So, so I don't have to hear him bark.
Man,
But there are some dogs that just, and I notice when I don't run, once August comes around, and I tell my neighbors, you'll probably hear my dogs bark June and July. Once August comes around and I'm running them every weekend, they're wore out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's my problem is it's just the months that I don't hunt. It's June, July, August. And it's not because I don't want to hunt. It's just I'm busy. I'm working. I'm making money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be hunting at night, right? So, like my wife told me earlier when I was talking with Jared, is not that I'm not home. It's I'm only home for a day to day and a half, and then I'm gone again. And I'm trying to maximize that time with the family instead
Yeah.
of the dogs. And as much as I hate to do it, it's just family comes first. So,
Sean, I think any dog you don't take out is just going to let you know they want to go out.
absolutely, and that's the biggest thing, and that's why they're barking is because they're not tired.
Yeah.
A tired dog is a quiet dog, 100%.
And
Doesn't
this is
matter
right.
if it's a dog that you got to run 7 days straight. Doesn't matter if it's a dog that shuts up after day one. They got to be tired.
Yeah. And Tim's right too, because you are the alpha in that group. You're the one that puts a
Yeah.
whoop on them. You're the one that thumps them in the
100%.
head. You know what I mean? You're the one that yells and screams, and
Yeah.
you're the one that keeps
No, I'll
biting
go out
them.
there. I keep a riding crop, meaning the fiberglass handle wrapped in the poly with the rubber handle and the leather flop at the end,
Hmm.
and that's what I correct with. Not because it's harsh, but because it makes a plop sound when you hit them. Right, so it's like difference between hitting something with a pop and a, difference. It makes
Yeah.
that sound, scares them, and you don't have to hit them hard. It's just the sound that spooks them, and they listen better.
Yep.
So I use a riding crop, 2 to 3 pops with it, gentle, and they listen great with it.
what kind of dogs have you got?
So I've got 2 that are that Southwest bred, blue tick cross, walker, everything. So one's from Jeff Allen, and she's a talking son of a gun. I can be rude to her, and she'll still talk to me as I walk away. The other one is a looks similar blue tick cross from Jerry Smith down there by
Steve Smith. No, Jerry.
Steve Smith.
Oh, he's-
Steve Smith. I'm sorry.
Steve
Yeah.
Smith or Jerry Smith? One of those.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking
I
about.
think it's the same bloodline, right? Father son.
No.
So
Steve Smith lives in Tonto, and then Jerry Smith, I think is his name, lives down in Patagonia.
okay, so it's whoever south of you.
Yep. I think that's Jerry. I think that's his name.
Okay, so it might be Jerry. I'd have to look it back up by the number and figure it out. But super smart dogs, very skittish dogs. They're the kind of dogs I can turn around, look at them, and they're jumping away. And I've
Well,
never actually
The reason I
been
ask,
mean to them.
they're all hound, 100% hound.
Oh yeah, all of them. And then the rest of them are all Nance bred or Nance and Trig cross.
Well, the Nance dogs that I've been around can be a little bit shy, bashful, you know, but the rest of those dogs, I wouldn't worry. Just me personally, I wouldn't worry about scaring them more than just beating the shit out of them. But that's just me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a tougher. I do not believe there's a tougher dog on the planet overall than a hound. And the cur guys, they'll get all butt hurt, and but whatever. I know a guy that's a veterinarian, and we were talking, and he said, a guy's got a pet hound down there in Las Cruces, or did back then. He said, and he brought me this dog, and he says he's off his feed. Well, the dog looked okay. Well, he's just not right. He's off his feet a little bit. Well, did all kinds of tests and blood work and couldn't find anything. And about the fourth day, the guy said, "Look, you're just going to have to figure something out. My dog's not eating and it's not right." And he said, "Well, the only thing I can do is cut him open and see what I find." He says, "Well, then cut him open." And he had a tumor in his abdomen the size of a softball.
Oh,
And he was just off his feed.
yeah.
Any other dog out there, that had already been tits up and it's over.
No, 100%. So if you get a pit bull, right, they are like the most susceptible to distemper and parvo. Like they just pretty much just roll over and die. So hounds, all you really got to do is you give them some lactated ringers with a little bit of glucose mixed into it for 2 or 3 days, and then they start to pull out of it. Then you start giving them a little bit of white rice and bland chicken, and they're going to pull through it. Almost, I wouldn't say 90% of them, but a good majority of them are going to pull through it without a problem. When if you get any other breed, including the pit bulls, like 90% of them are going to die. You're going to have a 10% success rate. Hounds are bad mamma jammas as far as any kind of disease and all that, because
Yeah,
I think
they're just real, very resilient.
yeah, and I personally, in my opinion, contribute that to for years and years and years, right? Before we ever had vaccines, it was survival of the fittest. You know, people had a couple hounds in their yard, and the ones that got the diseases died.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. You know, so the best ones survived, and now we've got all these tailor-bred dogs that are just junk dogs from, you know, who knows where, bred to be little bitty, you know, flat-nosed pug-looking, you know, snorting shit eaters, and now these hounds are literally the ones with the best genetics.
Yep. I think you're right there. I think you're on to something, Rowdy.
First time ever, man.
So do you think that but do you think that there's barkier dogs than others, like the plot? That plot this weekend was the Hound Rendezvous was pretty barky, huh, Jared?
As soon as that sum come up, he knew. He's like, "Hey, everyone else get up too.
Yeah.
I'm sick
Yeah.
of being on this chain."
So do you think? Well, and he did say that was the second time he'd been on a chain.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right to chain break something at an event, but
No.
No.
hey, he's a houndsman. He's trying.
Yep.
Do you think there's barkier dogs?
Oh, 100%. There's like as dense and like plots. I've had plots, and they I use a cherry plot, right? So a lot of people don't recognize a cherry plot as a plot hound, but she was built just like a plot, long, lanky, thin, and she was a fantastic dog. I have zero complaints about her other than she was so dense. When I tried to call her off a game, she wouldn't listen. I'd almost have to run her down to get her off, and she was a fantastic dog. I made a mistake of selling her before I had decided to move out to Nevada and start hunting lions. Otherwise, I'd still have her and her offspring and run them. But she was a dog that I could not break from barking because she did not care. You could go out there and whoop her till she was bleeding. As soon as you walked away, she'd start barking again. But then again,
Well, it's
I also contribute that to like how good is that dog going to stick to a track, right? How dedicated are they to that track? To me, kind of correlates with how much they're going to bark. And I don't want to break that personally. You know, it's like, you know, breaking someone's will compared to training someone to do a job, but it is what it is. You know, some people think one way, some people think the other way. But I'd love to have that dog's genetics still, just because she would never quit. I've put her on hogs and caught her 3 days later, you know, half a county further away. just because that's where I caught GPS, not GPS, but beep beep signal, and it aligned with the canyon, and that's where that hog went. But it's, I don't even know how to really articulate it right, but I do see that correlation between a dog that's going to stick with game and how much they bark. And I hate to break them of barking if they're a good dog that's going to stick with game, but it is what it is, and you got to have neighbors that
I
don't
don't-
complain and call the cops on you.
Yep.
Oh, you just got to be
Stubbornness.
real crazy, and the neighbors will call on you.
that's
I don't think if you
point two.
break them from barking in the yard, I don't. I'm not sure that it would laying.
I think they can figure
Oh, yeah, here it is.
it out. But you know, if you want to get crazy so that your neighbors will leave you alone, just walk out nude in the middle of the day and pee on the sidewalk.
I kind of do that. I think that's why.
I've been to
You
your
know,
house.
when the neighbor tells the game
Yeah.
warden, "Don't go over
I don't,
Chris's house."
it's not the same as
night?
somebody who lives in town.
Don't ever go to Chris's house. No, I absolutely agree with that, because granted, I do the same thing, right? Go out in the front yard, go to the next yard. You know, if I'm working on something in the garage, I go out next to the garage and take a leak. But nobody complains. It doesn't mean that I don't want to be a good neighbor and I don't want to upset them, right? Granted, I don't ever talk to my neighbors. I'm kind of a hermit. I don't care what they think, but I'd still be upset if my neighbor's dogs were barking incessantly. So I try to be a good neighbor.
Well, you don't
My
want to hear
neighbors
your
do
dog
meth,
barking
so
either.
They don't really complain.
Yeah, I don't want to hear my dogs barking either, and I understand. So I try to keep my dogs quiet, right? So 100%, I go out and I correct my dogs when I'm home.
Mhm.
But when I'm not home, there's not a whole lot I can do. So I've been thinking about getting a couple of those ultrasonic dog
Yeah.
deterrent barkers, right? Putting one on each side of the kennels, and that way when they start barking, I've used them in the past, and they're okay and they work, but a lot of them you have to keep dry. They can't get wet. So I don't know if anybody uses those. But looking at what Sean says, Caldwell, 100%. You can have a shit-eating
Oh,
dog that doesn't
yep.
hunt worth a lick, and that son of a gun can go lay out in the highway and not get hit. But as soon as you have a good dog, he's going to get hurt in the driveway and die.
Yeah, he'll get bit by a snake and die.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like you saying that teaching them not to bark in the yard might. I just, I got dogs. That's like they say you can't pull a dog off a tree without a leash. If you can just call a dog off a tree, then he's a worthless dog. But those same
No.
dogs that I just last Wednesday called them off the tree with no leashes, got them on to go back to my truck. I'm not saying I said, "Here, let's go," and they ran to the truck.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
There's a couple I had to raise my voice to, but I didn't shock them off it. I didn't, but those are the same dogs that had a lion treat in 80-degree weather down south for like 2 hours before I got there. I think your dog's associated. It's like a search and rescue dog. Those dogs run around like idiots until they put that collar on them. Just like my bird dog. You put that, all my dogs know when you put that collar on, they know it's time to work. They know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
My lab run around all over the place. I put that collar on, annoyingly stays on my left side against my leg, no matter where I go, until I tell him to go find a bird. I put my shotgun up. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of these theories of dogs that you shock off a tree, or you pull off a tree, or if you can pull off a tree, or if you shock them you correct them in the kennels, I don't think that matters. I think once they get out and they know they're tracking, once they know they're going to work, once you put those collars on them, My dogs know when I walk out with collars, they're doing circles. They know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
They hear me back up and put my tailgate down and open my door.
Yeah.
They hear my horse trailer door open, even when I'm not going nowhere. They
Yeah.
bark. They're like, yeah, you
100%.
know. So
So I've got all my dogs. I don't deal with a rude dog in the box, right? So I can open up if
Cattle
I got
prod.
a 2 kennel box, I can open up both doors and call each dog individually. I don't care if that dog's in the front. I don't care if that dog's in the back. You know, if I call them, that one dog will come out, and then I put that collar on that one dog at a time. And don't get me wrong, I'm always having to correct the other dogs and pop them in the nose. I'm not like beating them with a whip or anything, but it's just like, get it back, get back, get back. And then that one dog will come out after I call them and they hear my name. Yeah. So I'm not that kind of guy that opens up a dog box and all the dogs come barreling out at a time, right? So I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy that collars my dogs as I pull them out of the kennel and load them in the dog box and then go driving with the dogs in the dog box, kennel, collars on the whole time. No, my dogs have manners. I call them out of the dog box. They come to me. If I'm unloading them to go put in the kennel, I call them to me. I take their collar off. I unload them, shut the dog box, walk them over to their kennel. I put them in each kennel. And my dogs, I like a good, well-mannered dog. So, my dogs know their names. They know how to load. They know. And some of my dogs are goofy, and I have to actually put a hand on the collar to and then tell them to load up. But for the most part, I tell them to load up, and they all just load up.
Manners.
Yeah,
Manners are number one in my book, I think.
100%. I don't want a dog that's going to run me over. I don't want a dog that's going to run my kids over. I want a dog that knows personal space.
Like I hunt bear, so my collars are on because you never know when you're going to rig. So in the morning I put my collars on. I let them all off the chain. They go crap all over the place, but I can go to my truck and say, "Let's go." They'll jump in, and when I get home, I can open that dog box and they stay there. You got the puppies, of course, that try, but if I let them all out of my dog box when I get home, I can call them right to their box. They jump on their box. I take their collar off, and then I usually feed them. So
they get used to routines.
Yeah, that's
they get
good
used
stuff.
to routines.
Yep.
That's a big thing. It's just you got to get your dog into a routine. If you switch it up every day on him, he's going to keep getting confused.
Yeah, it's all about routine, 100%.
I don't think none of us have read it, but Benny's the great one.
What's
Benny.
that?
Look at Benny.
Well,
y'all got the knowledge man on now.
Experience as the rest of the three of us combined.
You didn't read about it or see it online?
Absolutely. I'm not saying that I learned a quarter of what I've learned on my own. I've learned a shit ton of it from guys online, right? I'm talking to forum, big game houndsmen. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Jared's taught me a shit ton, right? There's a lot about line hunting I had never even had a clue about.
He just makes it up.
It's all right. It works.
He figures it out.
He makes it up as he goes.
Yep.
And I sure wish I had someone like Benny to take me out and teach me. But instead, I got to rely on Jared and, have its bullshit. But
you know how I learned? I went with people. I went with old people and I went with young people. And I had some people that were within striking distance of a phone line. And anytime I had trouble and something didn't make any sense, if I had to go somewhere and make a phone call, I did that. Or if I got home late that night, I'd call and say, hey, what the heck's going on? This is what I'm looking at. And, it's just, there's nothing that beats time on the ground.
Yeah.
There's a old timer that lives down the road from me, and he hasn't had dogs in 4 or 5 years. He won't go with me. I've tried. He won't come with. He don't want to hunt. But I can call him just like Benny said. I'll hit him up with, hey, dude, this is going on. What do I do? And he'll tell me. what's going on. Like one time, I wouldn't have caught this lion if it wasn't for him. I had 4 lion scratches going up the canyon. The dogs blow up, take up to a giant rock cropping, and start going berserk. And I look down, I got a fresh lion track going down the canyon. Now I'm just all, what the shit do I do? So I get up there, and it's a catty spot, big holes and everything in this boulder pile on this ledge. I call him, and he can hear my dogs blowing up. And he's like, "You got one caught?" And I'm like, "No, but I got 3 scratches going up the canyon and 1 going down. What do I do?" And he's all, and I told him we're in a rock cropping, this and that, and he's like, "They'll figure it out." And I was like, so I sat there on that rock cropping for like 30 minutes, and the dogs just running everywhere, going berserk. And I thought, like, shoot, do I pull them and yank them down the canyon? As soon as I'm starting to think, the dogs blow up, go a mile, and ledge it up on a ledge.
That's
And
awesome.
if it wouldn't have been for him, I would have screwed it up.
Yeah.
I think Benny could agree that most mistakes are made by the hunter being impatient.
Yep.
Oh, man. And not trusting your dogs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But
thinking you know more than them.
And you can't smell it or see it, but
Mm-hmm.
And I've done it all. But you've got to be able to pay attention and try hard enough to see where you went wrong, to know your mistakes, and then remember not to do your best. I was over between Ash Fork and Seligman on some sheep summer country, and lions were killing these sheep, and they had contract Spaniards down there living in camp, following those sheep around all day, and they were saying that they were seeing a lion every day, and there was a dead ewe over there, and so I get over there, and I've got a dog that knows what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. And that other stupid dog wouldn't listen to me. I didn't have shock collars, and he's figured out pretty quick that he could outrun me. So I wouldn't let him.
Guns.
And he was trying and trying and trying to go do something. And sheep rancher Felipe Perez, he says, "Let that son of a bitch get off of the chain." And I said, "Felipe, I don't know that this son of a bitch isn't going to go run an antelope or something. He's not going to catch no damn lion like that. Get him off of the damn chain." And I never did. And we spent all day with my dog on a leash and him trying to work stuff. And so that night, Felipe got that afternoon, the government trapper came in and set a trap right where my dog was trying to work. And in the morning, had a lion in the trap. And I never, ever, ever got over that. Today, I mean, we're talking about probably, I was 20, I guess I was 26, and I'm 65. And it still bothers me.
Yep. I 100% understand what you mean there.
Yeah.
There's things that on numerous different topics, right? Talk to guys that are 50, 60, 70 years old, and they say something, and then they tell you how to do something, and then you don't recognize it at that time, but for the rest of your life, you understand what they meant after you go through that scenario. It's
Do you
like,
guys ever read the book of Steve Mathis? Brave?
I haven't read that one yet.
He's got a story in there where same thing Benny was going on with Benny. He's got his 4 or 5 hounds out, and he's got a puppy that just is chasing everything it sees. And him and his experienced dogs are doing circles. They're not finding nothing. They start going back to the truck, and the puppy showed up. And the older dog smelled the puppy's face. You know how they look like they're talking to each other and saying hello? And all of a sudden, the older dog turned and started going where the puppy came from. And
I remember that now.
The Spaniards are like, he gave him a message. And, it made me thinking how many times I've yelled at my dog, like, no, we're done, we're leaving, let's go. And he's following the dog in the wash, the puppy, and it's the dog tracks. The puppy tracks going to them, and the dog's following the puppy tracks up the wash. That puppy found the sheep kill, told the dog about it, and the pack went back up there and went 200 yards and treed that lion off that sheep kill.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the puppy smelled like a lion or kill or what, but
It is a great book, Missy. It like
Yeah.
Steve Mathis.
it's
So
how many times have I screwed dogs up by doing that or something? Just by saying, no, we're freaking done. I'm leaving. I'm tired.
Which
I want to
book?
go home.
Which book is that? It's not Brave,
Brave.
right?
Brave.
Is it Brave?
It is brave.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I started reading that. I haven't finished it.
You haven't finished it? I couldn't stop reading that freaking book.
I
Mhm.
I had like 4 books I was reading, and then Brett made me read a YouTube book. So
No. No, it's a great book. I don't know if you ever. It's so during the rendezvous, I got a guy that I was working with. I sent you a message, but he now owns Steve Mathis's house.
This book
Yeah.
is wild.
Hunting American
Hunting
Lions.
American Lions.
who's that by?
It is by my wife. Got it for me, and it says Property and Navy. I don't, and it's this one's marked 1948.
Oh,
Um,
what is it, baby?
but
Brett's telling me I'm stupid again. Why isn't he on? Why isn't he on? He don't want us to know where he's at because he's making
this guy,
relationships.
I don't know who it is right now. I can't find it. I'll give it to you later. But he hunted with Ben Lilly in the first chapter. Ben picks him up in town in New Mexico and says, we're going to eat tonight, so don't eat in town. They're hiking to, Ben always camped on foot or hunted on foot and camped in the caves.
Is that the dogs barking?
Ben Lilly.
That's my dogs.
We'll find out, please.
I think
That's
that's
your
my
dogs?
dogs. Yeah, I got my door open on my office and I got
Is
some
Mommy
pups
outside?
out there. So all I have
Ben
to do
Lilly
is say
found a
shut
lion
up.
kill and cut the freaking leg off the deer, and that's what they ate that night.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I
And
think we're
then-
limited
Thank you.
these days with how we can hunt now. And
Yeah.
that's why we romanticize about the old timers. Like when
Well, I
Joe
mean-
was sitting there telling us stories, or when you listen to Warner Glenn or Clump or any of those guys, Steve Smith, because it's not 1800 stories. If you want to see a book, let me find it here. You want to read a book about crazy hound hunting, and it's a journal, and it's this one. Why do I got to glare? I got to glare.
Wild
I'll have to
sports
get that
in the far west.
Yeah.
Something.
Wow,
Rick,
cut my
Nick,
whole screen
Blake.
screen off.
What was the name?
It's Frederick Gerstaker.
Oh, Gerstacker. Yeah, so he's the guy that was the bear hunter.
Yeah. So, they hunted everything. And this guy, it's a journal of a German guy who comes to the United States. I mean, you're talking about people who went into a cave with candles, no
Yeah.
LEDs,
Yep.
no 98-cent Kmart flashlight that died anyways. He had to shake. You guys remember those?
Yeah.
With candles. And when you shot, the candles went out. And they had a guy, one of the stories, the story that got me into this book was Clay Newcomb told that story about
Yep.
they shot a bear. The bear didn't die. Bear's killing dogs. His friend went in to stab it. The bear came after him. He woke up however many hours later. His shoulder was tore up. His friend is dead. 4 dogs are dead. The bear's dead.
Gosh.
It's just amazing stories. And it's not just bear hunting. He goes through and how they were killing turkeys. And I mean, it's an amazing story. Really amazing story. And it's not a Steve Mathis or an Ed Vance, or any of these guys that are modern driving around in a pickup with no brakes. This is a for real, probably flintlock,
Mm-hmm.
a knife. Like you had one shot and you had to load quick. I mean, they
Yeah.
killed a lion in a cave. They were going in a cave, and the one guy was playing with the bear cubs while the other one went back to kill the mom. Like, it's a crazy story. Like
Yeah.
that's real men shit right there. A candle in a cave. Like,
That's pretty
you-
freaking
and-
impressive.
yeah, they didn't have a torch to light the candles. You know what I mean? They were like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they lit the candle. Maybe a match. They probably had matches, but dang.
If
And
they're
could you-
lucky, yeah.
Have you guys ever shot in a cave or a mine?
I've shot in a mine. That sucks.
It's horrible. You don't
Yeah.
see, you
Loud.
don't hear. Yeah. So, networking on y'all's behalf. Brett's going to make us famous.
About
Oh
time
my.
you did something, Brett.
I
Jeez.
know. I
Hey,
know.
you gotta consider how difficult this is for Mister. I don't like people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's if you could look up.
You haven't read it yet, Sean? Jeez. Come on. That's something you should have read and memorized by heart.
Right.
Sorry.
That's all right. There was a book. I read a book, and I don't remember what it was, but it had some BS stories in it too. These guys shot a bear, and the bear was running down, got out ahead of them and ahead of the dogs, and they finally got the bear stopped. But it took them, I don't know how long. But the reason that the bear didn't bleed out after they shot him, because when he went down through the creek, he stopped and got himself a big old handful of moss and packed it in his wound.
That's a cool bear. I like that kind of bear.
Very smart, babe.
Yeah.
Some yahoo actually wrote that in a book, like, oh yeah, duh.
Hey, maybe bears were smarter back then.
Well,
knows?
Could have been. Now, I have seen hogs that have rolled in mud to stop bleeding because they were fighting. As in, like, boar hogs, they'll go find a mud hole, have their side laid open, from fighting. And I mean 6, 8, 10-inch cuts through their sides. And they go lay in the mud and pack that sucker full of mud. And it stops the bleeding. But then again, hogs have shields. So that big, thick cartilage shield. So
Oh, yeah. Well, that bear may have just rolled in some moss, and got stuck in there where it looked like someone packed it in there.
Back in the day, even Ben Lilly, in his book, they always made the animals seem like almost like they had human tendencies.
yeah.
How many times have you trailed a big tom, caught a female track, and caught the female?
Once or twice.
Ben Lilly was saying
What's wrong
that's because the tom's going ahead of the female and kittens,
Show me.
making kills for him as he goes.
inside.
I don't know how true that is. But in his little
I know.
Tales of Ben Lilly book, he talks about that. And
Stretch.
it's
Go stretch
Yeah.
your muscle. That might help.
they almost try to give the animal a conscience, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
elk has a
what-
conscience. He
what's
lets
that,
the females go out first, and then everybody sees if they get shot, and then they come out.
Mm-hmm.
Hydromorphize, or what was it when they try to give it human tendencies? What's that
Uh,
phrase?
retarded.
Close enough. Close
I like
enough.
that one, but that's not the term I was looking for.
Let me see what this is.
Dang it,
Oh,
that was a
that
good
was good.
one. Hydropomorphize or something like that. The human, trying to give them, credit that they can reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Anthropomorphism.
anthropomorphism, not anthro. Okay, anthropomorphism. So, don't get me wrong. Animals can think to an extent. 100%, right? But they can't rationalize. They can look at something, say A or B, but not A, B, C, D, E, F, like humans can, right? But there are some animals that can say A, B, maybe C. Bobcats, right? So they play all those. Benny's canceled now. They can play those tricks. But for the most part, it's A or B. There's no C for them to think, plan C.
You're right. It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
Eat and breed.
Yep. And who
That's it.
doesn't like that? That's my two favorite things.
Well, that's what we're put on this planet for. I tell people that we're put on this
That's-
planet to eat and breed.
That's
And that's
every 100% every animal. Those are the two goals.
Mm-hmm.
Eat to survive, breed to further the cause,
Yep.
And then there's
And when
us.
There's us who try to do everything in between, and
Yeah.
we eat too much. We have bad food, and we breed with the wrong people
100%.
half the time.
100%. Absolutely.
Hey, Diane, you should be in on this.
Breed them with the wrong one.
See what you
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
They
That's why it's
said,
called practice.
see, here's my
Practice.
wife.
First wife.
Yeah. And
Oh, she,
just in that we do things wrong. We don't follow the examples of, and we even breed with the wrong people.
I think you bred with the right person.
Ta-da!
Well, you picked the
Yeah,
right person.
but what-
She didn't.
but did she breed with the right person?
That's exactly right. You picked the right person. She picked the wrong person.
There's the
Yep. Disney makes good money
Mhm.
with perception. That's true.
Yeah.
100%.
It's all about
yeah.
perception these days. It's all
Absolutely.
about perception. Social media it's all about trending. It's all about perception. You can be made.
Perception.
Look,
Literally, perception means more to people now than facts.
That's true.
let's just take the Hawk Tua girl. She is banking, and she tells you she knows. She's like, "This is stupid.
Yeah.
This is stupid. They're gonna pay me 60 grand for to sign a hat or whatever." She says, "This is stupid."
She's worth
But
over
she's
$1
doing
million.
it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she was working in a spring factory.
yeah.
There was
she's-
rumors going around that she was a teacher and she got fired because of it. No, she's
Mm.
working in a spring factory
That's
on the assembly line.
perception. That's
She
the
literally-
perception.
Yep.
She
And
got
it's-
drunk, went out on a girls' night, said one thing, and now has
Yeah.
money. And
Yeah,
she's gonna ride it out. She's smart. She
I
knows
don't
it's
blame
stupid.
her. I'd do the
She's gonna
same
ride
darn
it
thing.
out. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It's all about perception. Period.
Yep.
So, and that's what destroys hunting. That's what destroys
Yeah.
people. You know, is
100%.
perception.
Well, it's just look at
Absolutely.
the kids' TV show Open Season.
Hmm.
The opening scene. You know the famous buck named Elliot that had two horns and then he got hit by the hunter and only had
Yeah.
one.
Broke
The
his horn
open-
off.
how that yeah. The opening scene is Elliot getting chased, runs across the road. The hunter sees Elliot, runs across the road, drives in the pasture, and runs him over.
Yep.
That's the opening scene.
and a 5-year-old will remember that.
100%.
Absolutely. Or Bambi. Look at
and then
Bambi back in the 90s.
Not only that, but in this that movie, they make out and they show the hunter to be an evil, big, just overbearing asshole.
Every movie, every cartoon these days does that. There's another cartoon with the poachers. They're big, evil, trying to catch
Yeah.
everything.
And that's
know?
the thing. They don't just portray a hunter as being a good person. A hunter is the bad person. It doesn't matter. Any mainstream movie, the hunter is a bad person. They put them in a bad light. Not
Yep.
never are they the good person.
Nope.
Well, everyone's so disconnected nowadays. I mean, kids literally think that food comes from the market.
Yeah,
They don't know
think
the
it comes
cow
from a
gets a steel
styrofoam
rod
packet.
shoved through its head.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's they don't understand that meat is beef, or beef
Mhm.
is cow, pork is pig, chicken is chicken, and they think it all just comes from the store. It's not raised on a farm.
Mhm.
Just grown. It's just grown
Yeah,
in a
it's
lab.
just it just appears in a cellophane
It-
package.
It's
Yep.
3D printed now.
Yeah, it is literally 3D printed now.
Yeah.
Benny's gonna quit us and start eating 3D printed beef and
The
tell
hell,
us we're all hippies and
my grandkids that live next door, my 4-year-old already knows. We fed that beef for 5 months, and now it's that beef she's feeding us. And he says,
nice.
we fed her all that time. Now it's her turn to feed us.
Yep.
I
And,
like it. That's the right mentality.
and when somebody asked him, well, did you see Black Jackie when Papa brought him home? And he said, how could I see Black Jackie? She was cut up in a whole bunch of little pieces.
I like it.
As a 4-year-old, they get it.
They get it.
Absolutely. In all reality, that's the whole adage of once you name it, you can't kill it. That's where men started being weak, right? That was the beginning. Saying, "Oh, you can't feed your kids because they named an animal." I don't give a hell about
Don't
that.
don't let them get close to it. Blah blah
No.
blah.
My kids are telling me to kill these chickens out here because that one's mean. None of them have names. It's just that white one. That one's mean. Kill him.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, any closing statements? Any last words?
Well, I wanted to hear what everybody says about battery operated bark suppressors, whatever you want to call them.
Like a bark collar?
No. Like it,
The,
like in
the
the
ultrasonic ones, you point
Yeah,
at
so
them.
it's the ones you put with like 4 D cell batteries, stuff like that. What's everybody using? Are you using one? Have you used one? What's your
3-foot
opinions on
garden
them?
hose. 3-foot garden hose.
Yeah. So are you using a freaking sprinkler that's voice activated? So when the dogs start barking, it turns on for 30 seconds? What are you using?
I use a BB gun. That's what I use.
3-foot garden hose chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it works great when you're home. Absolutely.
Well, you gotta realize that in this pack mentality, if you're gonna be the alpha, you gotta be the alpha.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you work out of town. I know that for a fact. Rowdy
Oh,
knows that for a fact.
It's
So
Yeah.
my middle child, my oldest son, he was in the pecking order in our pack, he was second in line. If he poked his head out the door and said, hey, they all hit the doghouse. So
I like it.
you know,
Yeah.
But-
and my wife always works from home. She's got her little job that she does doing photography and stuff. So she's gone every now and then. Like this week she's gone, but when we first started getting together, the dogs didn't listen to her. And then she moved in with me and she's like, the dogs don't shut up. And I'm like, well, grab the garden hose and do it. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
here all the time.
Exactly.
All they have to
it
do
took-
is see that hose.
Yeah, all it took, because they got tin roofs on their dog kennels. All it takes is a solid whack on top of that tin roof. No one says another word after that. You do. If they're barking when I grab that windmill or when I grab that garden hose, 2 or 3 windmill swings on the butt, they know they don't like that anymore. So when I say shut up, it's done. Or when she says shut up, it's done. But they actually have to go out there and do it themselves. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's wait until your dad gets home.
Yeah. I'm a rock chucker too. If I kneel down and pick up a rock, they all run to their dog houses too.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's, I throw rocks and they're like, you can't hit that dog. But when you throwing rocks the last 30 years,
And it hits the
And when
roof,
you-
they all shut up and hide.
oh yeah. As soon as you lean down and get a rock, they all run away.
Yeah.
You just
Done,
gotta, he's got to hit them once or twice.
So
know?
a story about that leaning down to pick up a rock, right? So this is a few years ago. My dad, he had dementia and he was following me. And I feel so guilty about this to the day, to still. I had a dog back when I had hog dogs in California. I had one of my favorite dogs out and he was following me. And right behind him was my dad, 65 years old, 63 years old, with dementia, just following me because I was walking, right? I reached down because the dogs back in the kennel started barking because I started walking away, grab a rock, turn around and throw it. My favorite dog, BJ, Blackjack, he turns and jumps sideways, runs right into my dad, knocks him over backwards, hyperextended both of his legs. Oh, I felt so horrible about that.
Yeah.
And
I'd have thrown
I mean,
another rock at that dog.
well, and it wasn't even, I wasn't even throwing it at him. He was loose. He was just walking behind me.
Yeah.
And I still feel so bad. And yeah. just a story.
One of them things, man.
Yeah.
I think my worst rock chucking story is I had Ike, my old horse, and I was using some corrals on forestry, and he was pawing them corrals and pissing me off. And I just picked up a rock and threw it back like that. And I throw rocks at him too, so he knew when I threw a rock, and it hit him right in that eyebrow. Right, little tiny rock, and it made it bleed. So just cut a little cut, and I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, dang it! Felt bad for him too. Good old animals.
Right when I had a dog, I just got into hounds. And I had this girlfriend named Lindsay at the time. And she just got this brand new sweatshirt. And I was going coon hunting, which is just, in Montana. It was check a field real quick. It takes 30 seconds, check a tree row. And my bone dog, dude, he bails off into this slough and he catches like 12 coons in this slough and they're trying to drown them. And I'm up to my waist in water. And I'm shooting coons and I'm yelling at Bone trying to get him away, and I'm kicking coons and I'm trying to shoot him. And I yell at my girlfriend at the time, Lindsay, I'm like, grab this effing dog. And I'm shooting these coons that they're running at us, and she grabs the dog, and I'm like, get to the fucking truck. I'm just mad. Like, shit's getting western. I've never really caught anything before besides a couple coons and trees before this. It's my first year ever having a hound. I'm 21. And I get to the truck, and the dome light's on, and she is in tears. This brand new whatever sweatshirt it was covered in mud. Her face got drilled by a stick, so she had like a crack whip across her face.
Oh,
Just, and all I wanted to do was just catch one or two coons that night.
Yeah, but you got to admit, looking back, you just ran her through the sorting gate and she didn't make the cut. She's not with you today,
No,
Absolutely.
nailed it.
that's true.
Absolutely.
That
She
is
wasn't a
true.
keeper.
Dave.
She wasn't a keeper.
That is
I
Cry,
true.
baby.
100% agree.
She kicked me to the curb pretty quick after that.
Cry,
You're no
baby.
good asshole, Jared.
Yep.
Yeah, listen, your first loss, no matter what, your first loss is always your cheapest loss. So whatever you invested in that deal up to then, it was over with and you were good and you didn't have to keep on throwing money.
Yep. Absolutely.
And all it took was one little bitty old coon mess.
You're absolutely right. See, that's
Yep.
that wisdom. That's
Yeah.
that wisdom we don't have.
Benny's
Mhm.
wisdom right there. That's
Yep.
Benny's wisdom. Well,
Yeah.
guys,
Take off. I've been up since 2 this morning, and I'm gonna get up about 3 tomorrow. So
I
Shoot,
I think
dang,
I'm
Benny. Have a good night.
gonna. I'm gonna
Yep.
you
thank you,
guys,
sir.
See you, Benny.
See ya.
I'm gonna saddle up my mule and go try to catch a bear or lion in the morning. That's what I was doing, plugging in all my GoPros. And all my collars are charged, so
I like it.
we'll see
Yeah,
what I
it's
can.
next week's supposed to be in the 80s for me, so I'm gonna go out hunting. After
Well,
the anniversary, of
October-
course.
October, your anniversary? Oh,
Yeah,
Bear
next week
hunter.
is my anniversary.
are you going bear hunting?
No, just lion. We
Oh.
don't have bear tags.
So October 4th, it opens back up here, and I think I'm gonna go to 3B, set up my camp. But I got a concert October 3rd, so got to run down to Phoenix, go to the stupid concert, miss the morning hunt, but I'm staying out
Oh,
there
good
for a
job,
week.
baby.
So
There you go.
That sound like that, right?
yeah,
I got
I'm gonna shut it down.
side jobs until
All right, now right now.
October 1st, and then I'm done.
Come up and kill a bear.
I ain't running them dang things. I don't want to run them down here.
Just come up and kill the bear. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
I
you
should
don't
give
have
you
to-
my rooster dog. I don't care about him. I'd sell him if my wife would let me.
just
He's
Just-
I just don't have patience for dumb males is my problem. He's a good
Yeah.
dog. He's just turned a year old and he's seen about 12 lions. And he's been treeing since February
well,
before he was a year old.
we've already had Brett's dog on a bear. That puppy.
Yep.
He's all, you're gonna ruin my dog. You're damn right.
Yep.
Yep.
That dog only gets me mad when we'll be trailing a lion, man, and he cannot. If we're trailing a lion, and a Coda Monday runs by.
Mm,
It,
The young?
Yeah. Oh shoot, he's only a year and a couple months.
mhm.
Son of a gun. I had a client last year. We hit a lion off a deer kill, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, we're catching this thing, dude. Dog's marked treed about a mile and a half later, and down in this bottom of this draw, I get to the tree and I'm like, I'm not seeing a tail, and then I see a little bit of a tail, and I'm like, that tail doesn't look right.
That ain't a,
That ain't a lion. It's
that
a
ain't a yellow tail.
big old freaking boar monkey, you know.
Hey, wasn't that the Texans?
No,
Oh.
that happened to the Texans too. That was my
Yep.
June dog. She did that one.
Mm-hmm.
But we made that lose, and they searched for like 45 minutes on that lose, and I think they just got bored and said, "Heck with it, we'll run the monkey." But
Yeah, there's one here. Let's just treat this for him.
yep. But
Let
no,
him shoot it.
I should have known something was up when it said my rooster dog treed first. I should have known something was up.
I got lucky. I went out. This the only day I went out this year for bear, and we caught a bear. So, which is good.
Heck
Hopefully, my
yeah.
dogs are like, oh, that's what we're chasing now. So, Dirty
Yeah.
had his head down, cold trailing. Vaca picked it up, and he was trying to cold trail it, and then they ended up moving it.
Good.
So, yep. So I'll go out tomorrow. There's a lot of lions in this area, so I'm just gonna get on my mule, cut country, and hopefully they don't make it to the res. The res is right there.
Yeah.
How are your dogs crossing over between lions and bears?
I
Down
don't
here,
know.
it's different.
Yeah.
Because, when we were talking to Casey at the rendezvous, Brett asked the same question. When Casey's hunting bear, he's going out on horseback or on foot. He's gonna hunt whatever he comes across, whether it's a bear or a lion. And it's not like in Nevada where you don't really dragging on lions. It's hard enough to find a lion track in Nevada, let alone in the dirt.
Yeah.
So, or Idaho where guys are running 200 bears, or not 200, yeah, running 200 bears, and not running a lion in between those 200 bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you, one day you run a bear, the next day you cold trail on a lion, you can kind of keep their brains right, their mentality right. But if you're just going to blow through and catch 20, 30 bears and with no lions or trailing lions in between there, you might have some hiccups.
Hey,
My
man, I'm
theory might be retarded.
I'm up here hunting bears, so I'm usually just hunting bears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in like super good lion. And then when I'm down south, there's no bear there. So
There's
they
bear.
put in
You saw that
where
bear.
it's not no, I'm talking in south, like where I hunt off of I-8.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing there. There's not even lions there. So they have to really look. And once
Mhm.
I get them on a lion, they know like that's all they're gonna get on, you
Yep.
know. And I don't think they're bad on coyotes. I'm not saying they don't chase them, my young ones. Dirty won't. I don't think Vodka will.
I'm
You
fighting
know.
my dogs and the coyotes still. Sons
Yeah,
of
I think
bitches.
you have to. What I did a
Hmm.
lot of is shoot coyotes, drag them across the road, hang them in a tree, and then I'd go back. Or if someone was with me, we'd actually take turns. The guy would go up, hang the, and then you drag it across the road, and you have that dog. You'd rode them, and it was only 20 yards off the road, and they'd go. Once they hit that track, you watch them. And once one does it, even some of the other ones will do it. So you have to kind of tune in the old ones, and they hit that tree. You'll see that old one, see that coyote, and turn around and like, and he's trying to get out of there because he's following the dogs, kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll
Guilty
burn
by
them.
association.
Yep. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He gets a little momentary, but those
Mhm.
other dogs, I burn them down off those coyotes when I do that.
Yep.
So I try to shoot every coyote I can or deer. You know, I was hoping when I was hunting last week, I have a deer tag too. So I'm like, damn, they're out over here. Maybe they'll push a deer, you know, because they're running here. And I said, I'll whack a deer and then I'll bring him back.
That's what I need to do is go
Mhm.
up to you and trash break my dogs off elk because they've never done nothing around elk.
Oh, yeah. I'll take you right to the golf course at night. We'll let them go right on the golf course. It's so, but you spotlight, you know, and the elk will be out there in the lake or in the golf course.
Yeah.
You let them dogs go and them pups, 100 miles an hour.
Ah!
The strong ones will get up and try it again. You get them again, and it usually
Mhm.
only takes that. You
They
know,
just don't understand what just reached up and bit them.
Yep.
no, they don't. They don't. You know,
That's
especially if you're
right.
not trash. I think when you got dogs, and I'm kind of spoiled now. I haven't done drags. I haven't done treeing. I just dump them with my other dogs. That's what I do, and you get spoiled to that. And I haven't trained. I haven't
Well,
had
once
to
you get
train.
like we were talking about earlier with the barking,
Yeah.
the old dogs tell the younger dogs like, you know, they read body languages and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
The younger dog looks and is like, "Oh shit, dad's scared. What are we like? Something's going
That
on." And then they get nervous and.
that's the whole story about cutting the ends off of the roast.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for animals, you know.
Yep.
They
We're scared,
learn.
and I don't know why, but I'm gonna be quiet and do what I'm
Yeah.
told.
So training is 80% easier for me when you
Oh.
got good. But if you don't follow a routine and you don't do your years right,
Yeah.
and you skip a couple years and you lose some older dogs, hopefully, I gave a dog that was a good dog, but with my dirty dog and my yucky dog and some other alpha dog, he wouldn't perform like he should. And I gave him to someone else, and they went out and ran a bear,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because he's the lead dog in their pack now. He's the old
Yep.
dog. So now he can take charge. And he's a good dog. He's a good line. He just wasn't good because I already had my dog. I
Yeah.
had too many of these lead dogs.
Yep.
But if those dogs would die or not go, he would go run.
Every 2 years, I try to get 2 to 4 puppies every 2 years.
Yeah, you can buy them at Walmart, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So
That way, because my buddy, he had issues. He had all old dogs, 6+. Well, all of a sudden, 2, 3 old dogs die off. Now you got 2 old dogs, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now you got nothing but pups, and the old dogs are
Tough.
7, 8 years old. And you're working
Yeah.
a 6-week-old pup with it, or not working them yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
And
Yeah.
you
have
always
to
gotta
have
have
that
a
gap.
rotation. You got to
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
a rotation coming in, just like freshman, junior, senior.
At least 2 years. At least that's probably a good farthest you could get. You might push it on 3 years, but
Yeah. I like
I
a
always-
2 year because I can stay with my puppies and get them treeing, trailing, doing what they're supposed to do. Not 100% trash broke, but by the time they're 2 years old, they can play the game pretty good.
Mhm.
And then
Yep,
I can
that's-
get more puppies, and I can focus on those puppies.
That's
Because
where I'm at
after
now.
after 2 years old, they're learning from the older dogs by then.
Yeah.
They know their name. They know when to come. I'm not gonna train. I can't teach them how to bark at a tree. That all comes from the older dogs.
Oh yeah.
What the trail and everything else. So
Yeah, I'm at that point where I'm trying to decide whether I want to have another litter or buy pups. So, and I've got 2 dogs that are exactly what I want, and they're of the same bloodline. It'd be a lion bred cross, and if that's a good cross, you know, I don't know if until I actually do it, if I'd actually do it. But if they produce what they are, they'll be phenomenal dogs. They're
Yep.
both they both come from the same bloodline of good dogs.
is that
And-
that Nance line?
Yeah, yeah,
I think if you breed your own dogs, you can watch them, and I don't think you're gonna get. There's gonna be one good dog in there. Hopefully, you pick it and you read it right. But
Yeah.
that's why I like to breed my own.
I'm the complete opposite. I don't like puppies.
I love puppies, but I hate having litters.
Yes, that's where I'm at. I don't like dealing with 11. I've had my own litters.
Yeah,
I don't want them. So I got a buddy. He pups out pretty good dogs, and I go to him every time. I'm like, dude, just give me your 2 top picks
yeah.
that you're gonna take.
I like puppies. I like working my own dogs.
No,
Right. And so I've had 2 litters, and out of both litters, majority have made good dogs. And out of each litter of good dogs, I've had 2 exceptional dogs. And those are the 2 that I want to breed because they're both exceptional out of really good litters. Meaning, majority of all the dogs were keeper dogs. So,
yep.
right. And that's the only reason why I want to breed them. But they're both exactly what I like. They're hard hunting. They hunt instead of the dogs that get tired and they start walking behind the truck when they're tired.
Yeah.
These dogs, even when they're tired, they're gonna stay out there and they
Mhm.
hunt outside of they're not trailing you. They're
Yep.
out here actively tracking, looking for to cut a track to strike, and that's what I want. And they're both just very smart dogs.
There you go. You'll get something out of it. Don't give none to Jared.
No.
I offered him. I literally the female that I'm wanting to breed right now. I offered Jared, and he said no. I want a black and tan.
Oh,
I got-
2 years ago,
I'm
Dude,
kicking
my
them off
black-
right now.
right?
I just
So-
love them black and tans I get from my buddy. I can
Yeah.
treat them dogs like a rented mule.
Yeah.
And
Well,
them
this
hard.
dog, she doesn't get sore. She hunts hard, and she was my pick of the litter, and I was gonna give him, and he's like, oh well, thank you, but I'm looking for black and tans. So
Yep. I
I
might
hate
breed
red-
my
I hate
Walker.
red dogs, and
Oh,
I
good.
got one that's just tough as nails. Tough
Yep.
as nails. Never just goes. His feet are ugly. He's ugly and lengthy, and
Real
he just goes.
He's real
And
crow-footed, isn't he?
He just
That
got,
red dog. Real
big red
crow-footed. Yeah, isn't
Little
he real
bit.
crow-footed? Yeah.
but he don't miss a step. He's treat bears by himself. He is still a little trashy, but he's still young.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
Mm.
but no, he's accidental breeding, and he has heart. So, I'll
There you
keep him.
go. Yep.
All righty, guys.
yeah.
I've been gone for 4 years. I should probably go in and.
Hang out.
I've been home
I
for
got
2
the look-
weeks and
I got the
still.
look too.
Oh yeah, you said it's only going to be. I always tell her. I think it's probably just going to be a short one.
I
Two and a
got
half hours later.
I got a still.
Yeah.
Really? Are you serious?
Yep. So, and I got Dove and dumplings waiting on me. She made me some Dove and
Shoot.
dumplings. I know. Maybe she might have just dumped it out and said too late. Sorry, dinner was
You
at
missed
7.
out, bro.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I think we we talked about barking for about 15 minutes, which is our usual topic.
Yeah.
Talking.
But nobody ever mentioned whether like no one ever said whether they actually use
No.
like electronic stuff. So
No, I don't. I've never heard anybody
It
using
gets
it.
so
but-
expensive. I never did.
They
'Cause
are.
it got, a bark
you-
collar is $80. Well, multiply
Yeah.
times 12 now.
yeah.
you're
so
gonna be
like the little electronic ones that's voice
Yeah.
activated for the dogs. I've used those in the past and they help. But my hearing, I could still hear it, so I could hear it in the house, and I didn't really like it. But it helped, just not a lot.
Yeah.
But I think if you had two, one on each side of your kennels, or pointing in opposite directions, whatever, however your kennels are built, it might be a good deal.
You need a phone. You need a microphone out. You need a megaphone out there.
Shut
And,
up.
you know, and when they do anything, just stop
Well, with
or have automatic.
like the comms.
Like when they bark, it comes up and says, "Shut up."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll have to try something and come back with an answer.
Right.
How do you shut them up? I use a BB gun. Jared uses a hose. You try to use your wife, but you have to come home and correct all that.
I just grab her by the feet and hit the dogs with her.
Smack her and make her yell at you, and then they'll get scared and go in there.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. Good
So-
seeing you again.
Yep.
I know. Old Rowdy's been gone for a few
A
spells.
while.
If you could tell California not to burn, I'd be here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we don't want it to burn in case it actually we can hunt it again, right?
Right.
Dude,
So,
also, I bet you on that fire, I saw half a dozen bear tracks in the first week. And we're talking like 2 miles a line, half a dozen different bear tracks.
crazy.
Yeah. And that's not like, that's continuous. It's not just, oh, I saw a bear track today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, oh, I saw another bear track. No, it's like half a dozen bears in that continuous 2 miles every day for a week.
That's nuts.
Damn dogs. I'm gonna go get
80,000
my. Oh yeah, they'll hunt them again with dogs.
Yeah.
You watch.
I
I'm
hope
gonna
so.
go get my BB gun now.
Yeah.
Good luck.
That time.
Can you hear him? My
No.
mic's picking him up. I can hear him in my headphones.
Oh.
All right, guys.
All right.
Yeah. Have a good
Talk
night,
to you guys
everybody.
later.
Thanks for watching.
All right.
Yep.
Later.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on. I'll be hunting October 4th over in around Vernon. If you guys want to come out and hang out and camp with me, I'll feed you some dirty old tacos. So, other than that, for a week, hoping my 80-year-old uncle. Well, come on over. See you down the trail a bit. I'll see you guys. I don't got nothing coming up. I'm trying to get a spot for next year's Hound Rendezvous. I'll let you know when that happens. We've raised over $21,000 for the Colorado thing Monday night on Brett's Interview Stories and Tales. We'll have Cody King on, and he's going to tell us about his leopard hunt, and we're going to go over the money with him and a lot of other stories stuff. So I will see you guys Monday and probably next Wednesday. If everything works out, guys. All right. Thanks for coming on. You guys have a good night.